Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next session of The Lodge at Endsmeet. Now, as always, we'll begin with a recap from one of our illustrious players. And I'm sure everyone's going to look at Emily, but does anybody else want to pitch?
I'm so illustrious.
Okay, Emily, if you have
Okay,
it, it's all you.
I got it. Don't worry, I took notes, you guys. I know you're all shocked that I took notes.
Yep.
More relieved.
Okay. Hang on, I'm holding down the push to talk, so if it stops, let me know. Okay, so last time, we picked up with Reverie, Triumph, and Katja returning to bed, which seems important for the kindred folk in particular, but they promised they'll see us later. In the meantime, we were where we needed to be, past the gates of the Achitari gates. We noticed, actually, I think it was Ori that noticed that they went into this little estate house that was branded with the symbol of Nyx that Ori informed us was this lesser known goddess of vampires who is said to be the first vampire, so that's some cool lore. We met Lila. I have Lyla. I hope that's Lila. Achitari, not a tiefling, and Claudia was like, why do you have the same last name as Reverie even though you are not a tiefling? And so there was a little bit of confusion. It's not been made clear, but I suspect it's maybe like a sire name thing. But the idea is that they are family, if not necessarily blood related family. There was also, we kind of caught some flashes of the blush, so it's possible that there's some other vampires around that are maybe asking for some sort of favor or something with the Ashtaris. But the windows were interesting. They was not full sunlight, but it was kind of comfortable. And then we had our conversation. Artie sort of holed up in the corner and was sort of like, "Hello, I'm just going to tune out and read a book. Is that okay?" And Lord Ashtari was like, "LOL, yeah, sure." And so Artie kind of read something and chilled while mostly Velen talked to him about the Dougals and this idea that Torek Dougal is was supposed to be serving the Ashitaris, but has kind of explained the situation where his brother did some strange business, some shady stuff, and now Torek is still alive technically, but as a revenant. Lord Kynan thanked us for this, for bringing it to his attention, but also let us know that there was some other work that we could do for him, in the form of recovering the Book of Nod, which is the vampire Bible / rule book for the kindred, that does actually exist, even though it's kind of like the Necronomicon. It's been passed down through the districts, and this Baron Norok had this book, but has presumably lost it in some way. It's unclear if it was stolen. It seems like it was maybe it seems like the vibe that I got was sort of this. There was maybe an idea of there's been some it's been not neglect necessarily, but it's maybe some incompetence, and it's kind of unclear. And so the book is basically not in his control. It's unclear how, but he doesn't want to send the sheriff and his crew because they're not very subtle, or gentle, which means that we're supposed to be gentle and subtle. He specifically said we don't want blood spilled for this, so Velen in particular was sweating bullets over this, and so was Tess.
And Artie might have been if he had been paying attention.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll see. So no bloodshed. So we have to basically go and figure out the book. It's not. We don't necessarily have to recover the book, but if we do, we get a bonus. We also asked about Cal asked about the seventh trellis, and he basically said, "I am not totally sure, but that is something that I can help you with. Maybe you can help me with this thing first." He also seemed like he could detect thoughts, and so we all kind of gave him surface thoughts, and Velen in particular was like, oh shit. And he did probe deeper, and I don't think Ori passed the saving throw, so I don't think Ori knew that he probed deeper.
It's like a 25 DC.
Yeah, it was
she rolled
He
valiantly. It was
rolled
like
really
a
high, but it was a
22
really
or
high
23.
DC because Ancient Vampire is.
You would have had to nat 20 to get it, is what
Scary,
you said.
scary Ancient Vampire is scary. But basically, she was thinking about her little artifact blood vial thing that she recovered from her like from the backstory that we just got from her, and so it's unclear necessarily like what he was after, but that's interesting. So we were like, okay, cool, we will do this little side quest for you. However, the Baron wasn't going to be awake for a couple of hours, so we had a little bit of time to kill, which we mostly spent by fucking around. And while
Good nap.
we were going to go to an exotic animal store because Artie really, really, really wants a mount. Still had his heart set on a frog or a toad when we got there, but that was not what happened. On the way there, we discovered a kobold in a grate named Grate. Artie gave him a gold,
I
and for
forgot
this
about Grate.
gold, he gave us many secrets. However, he already gave the code name Hardy Butterknife, which I still think is the fucking
The
funniest thing in the
best
world.
name in the
It
world.
just is so good. And he also traded a secret, which was that the Verdant Death is out to kill us. Well, kill him in particular. He didn't necessarily say us. The secrets that we got, just to summarize, there is a bronze dragon that not everybody knows about that is like holed up somewhere. There is a polymorphed wizard dog that comes out at night. Apparently, all of the rats in town are were-rats, or most of them at least are were-rats. There are catacombs hidden beneath the city that have like some weapons and treasure from Aurelian soldiers, but also some like things that maybe would fight us. The current affairs, the Thieves Guild leader was just killed last week, and so there might be some thieves out making a name for themselves, so that's, watch our back. And then there's the guy called Baron Astor that's maybe coming to town, and he's a piece of shit, and Claudia kind of like sent a chill down Claudia's
You
spine.
said the name Baron Astor, and I immediately went,
Yeah, but he's not going to be in town for a couple of weeks.
yeah, let's get out of here before he gets back.
So hopefully we should skedaddle before he shows up. We found a ribbon store that Sao kind of willed into existence. And we got some ribbons. Tess got a little yellow ribbon for Velen. We finally found this exotic animals trader, and there were a whole bunch of things there. Artie ultimately decided on a weasel, a little ferret. His name is Barry
Not
because
little.
well,
big
not little.
giant.
That's true. A big ferret, a giant ferret.
It's a medium-sized ferret.
A medium-sized, medium-sized creature. giant ferret that already named Barry because he was very focused on the good berries. He ate like 4 of Tessa's good berries and then immediately got bloated, and so
I think it's important to point out that Artie was thinking of the very dignified name Sable, and
Yes.
Claudia threw out the name Crunchy.
Crunchy, yeah.
Luckily, it ended up being Barry.
All over the map, yes. So good berry, we have Barry. He hilariously already like the turning point, I think, was that Barry can now talk to him as soon as Artie signed his little contract. Barry can talk to him, and so Artie immediately was like, "Oh my god, I'm going to protect you forever." And
Die for this ferret.
hilariously, like, he carried his own mount out of the store because he kind of got sick on good berries. At this point, Ori kind of asked, like, "Hey, Cal, do you like have the funds to pay off the 7th trellis?" At which point he kind of told the group about the little like bauble that he had been carrying around, which Ori identified. We went back to the whiskey dip and back into like our rooms, and Ori identified that as a phantom Q, which is a super powerful artifact that can make someone make a double of themselves. But like, unlike Tess's double, that's illusory. It's like solid and has all of your spell slots and like can act on its own initiative and stuff. So Tess was definitely a little bit like had some like anxiety thoughts about that, and felt like, oh, okay, well, that sucks that that thing can do the thing that I can do but better, and that makes me feel weird. Meanwhile, Barry got drunk, and it was very funny. He like snuck downstairs and like drank some liquor, and it was great. And Artie made his ferret invisible and confused a bunch of dwarves. It was peak D&D. It was wonderful.
Yes.
And after which we talked about the possibility of kind of like, we had a couple of hours. What do we want to do next? Do we want to go to bed? Do we want to like go, try to scout out this contract? Except for the Baron wasn't awake yet. Or do we want to like go explore the catacombs? We ultimately decided to go to sleep kind of early, and so we won't be totally on schedule, I guess. We won't be like we're kind of like going to bed a little early so we kind of sync up a little bit more to this Baron. In the meantime, Tess had also gotten some dreamless sleep, some like tea that invokes dreamless sleep. But Ori, during the kind of the course of some conversation about Sanatoth, suggested that like, Tess, why don't you just ask Sanatoth, like, but like respectfully though. And Tess was like,
Respect him. Ew.
which was a really good idea, because she gave tea to everybody else, but went to sleep and kind of prayed to Sanatoth. But before that happened, Velen also made a burnt offering to Dawes, with some crow feathers, a bird that he hates apparently, and made an offering, a very sweet offering to Dawes to protect Seeker. And she and Dawes had this really great little conversation about like her personal growth, and how she was like, Dawes was sort of like, he is ambitious and I will protect him. And so that was nice, and a really kind of like nice nod to Seeker also. And while this was all happening, also Ori and Cal went and had a drink together, and they danced, and they talked a little bit about Cal's history. And Cal had this really interesting question of sort of like, do you intend to stick around with them? And Ori was like, I don't know. And Cal was like, well, you're pretty competent, and it would be nice to like know that there's someone has an eye on them. So that was sweet. There was no smooching, but it seemed like it was a nice date. Meanwhile, Claudia also broke everybody's heart by making a little like thinking about Seeker, and thinking about Jericho, and making a little like body pillow for herself, and kind of holding the pillow that had belonged to Seeker and smelling it and crying and feeling sad that Jericho, feeling sad that like the person in the party that was also aware that like a were creature that reminded her of her brother is no longer there. So that was really sad. And meanwhile, then Tess prayed to Sanatoth. The prayer went through, and like had this whole interesting conversation with Sanatoth, where she found out that Sanatoth really is the nightmare watcher. Like the fears really do come from the people. Like he's not the one causing them or invoking them. He can just see them, which is interesting. She also learned that Sanathoth is really angry at Jamino for some kind of unclear reason, but might be related to the fact that he can't like actually see into humans' minds and can only see their dreams. And he seems. We also discovered that Sanathoth's followers are trying to sort of like break his leash, so like theoretically like move him up from Delecto to Sisto, somehow. So we kind of got some intel there in terms of like what this cult of Sanathoth maybe wants to do. I think it might also be perhaps connected to like why people are killing off Delecto, Sisto clerics, maybe. So Tess got a lot of interesting information, and then kind of came away with this confusion, kind of confused and wanting to talk to Jamino about this.
I think a really important thing that came out of Sanathoth's mouth in that conversation was when Tess was like, well, why is it that whenever I say your name I have a nightmare? And he's like, because you're afraid of me. He wasn't doing that. Like the emphasis is not that he's not the nightmare giver.
Yes,
and your fear controls you.
He doesn't promote the nightmares. He just looks at them, which I don't know if Tess totally 100% believes, but it does align with the thing that Jamino told her the one time that she asked Jamino about it, and Jamino was like, "He is a dog that is barking, and you just need to like know that he can't hurt you." So that kind of aligns. So that's interesting. We learned some more stuff about Sanathoth, and then in the morning. The big thing that happened in the morning was we didn't have nightmares, except for kind of Claudia, because she failed the wisdom save, and a person, Nefin Edivane, I think I wrote that down correctly.
Nefin Edivane.
Nefin Edivane, so like a blood magic person, seemed to have located, that she recognized.
Well, it's important to note Nefin was not the person she saw.
Oh, okay, but
Nefin is the person who basically owned her.
Okay, but
the person who she saw was Witch Doctor Tool.
Witch Doctor Tool. Okay, sorry, I didn't write that down.
Okay.
So like a witch doctor person that like basically located her, and now the Edivanes have eyes on her, which she immediately reported to us and was super scary. But all of us had this sort of like hype session about like, hey, you're more powerful now,
You're a
and
big wolf now.
you're a big wolf now, and not only that, but like you have a whole bunch of friends, and they're really cool. And not only are we really cool, but like Rev and her crew clearly don't want you to be fucked with either, and like don't have beef with the Edavanes. It was also kind of established that Reverie and her little crew are gonna maybe accompany us to Shadowstead, because it seems unlikely that the Edavanes will kind of like come to Malachor. It's like it's possible, but like that seems unlikely because of how much, like, it seems unlikely because of how many other
It's under the control of
it's under it's not,
vampires of the opposite
yeah,
ideology.
it's not under their control, so that's unlikely. But like, it seems like we're going to have some accompaniment for a while. But to kind of like to try to impress on her like how much we care about her and how much we're not going to let her die, Tess cast Death Ward for the first time, because that's like her big 4th level spell that she has. And so make it, just so you remember, Pen, Claudia is Death Warded.
Death Ward, gotcha.
Claudia, you also have a repulsion shield as
I
well.
know,
I don't know if you're aware of that.
It hasn't come up yet.
You're telling me you haven't got hit in 7 months?
Yeah.
Pretty much never.
So we ended with we had reported the stuff that we knew. So we reported the Edavanes kind of like had eyes on Claudia, and then Tess also let Triumph know about the Sanathoth trying to ascend through like kind of up the chain. And so, which is like useful information to sort of distribute. And we ended with Rev and her crew kind of escorting us kind of out the door to kind of go deal with this side quest for Baron
Noark?
Noark. Yeah.
It's a lot of names.
That's a lot of
names.
A lot of names, a lot of Barons. Okay, that's all I got.
Well done. You have earned a point of inspiration, and I am curious if at some point Artie is just going to say, "Okay, this shield is not working," and it's just going to spend
What if
the infusion on something else.
he takes the charm off of it without telling Claudia, and she tries to use it like the next
for the first time.
And like she's like, "Why didn't anything happen?" She never fucking used it.
Somebody has the spell refueling ring where they can recover
I think that
one
might be
spell slot at
Tess?
3rd level.
Or Velen.
Tess has it. Well, I mean, I think originally originally you were going to give it to. Tess had it because originally you were going to give it to Seeker, but now we don't have Seeker anymore. But I'm happy to give it to Ori. Though.
You salty bitch.
Yeah, I give it to Ori.
You
Ori, I gotta give it for you.
What?
Tess hasn't used it, and Claudia hasn't used the thing I made her either. And I'm getting very upset because I make you guys all this cool stuff and nobody ever uses it. And Ori, I know you'll use it. Here. Give you a ring.
Thank you.
He says as we leave the tavern.
Over the table, I forgot that I thought that Seeker, that you had made it into a mind sharpener for Seeker, so I thought that I didn't have it. Because originally that's what you had done. But I did use it. She did use it in that big boss fight that one time.
Yeah.
And Claudia uses her shield all the time, so.
Ori looks apologetic at Tess.
Yeah.
Okay. You could use more fireballs.
My AC is
more fireballs.
Good. Yes, I think being here in the city, we might need some more fireballs before the day is out.
I hope you're being sarcastic.
I am.
Okay, good.
So this is supposed to be a stealth mission. Do we want to talk about that?
I don't know if stealth is the right word. I
thought it was supposed to be a diplomacy mission.
Okay, maybe not bloodless. To me, that implies some discretion.
My goodness.
Well, I think the idea was the instruments that are ordinarily used are quite tiny and sharp.
So we look over at Reverie, who's standing right next to us.
Look, they know their strengths. I'm not saying anything anybody in this room doesn't know.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What was that?
Yeah, I wasn't either.
Oh boy.
It's
Mr. Achitaris said that he doesn't want the sheriff to go in, if at all possible.
Because it could be a political statement that he'd like to avoid.
Right. a little too heavy-handed.
You're a stone cold killer. Winks.
There is a moment where
Well, it's more like using an outside contract means that he's not visibly sending his
It's
own
not an
forces in.
accusation.
Right.
there is a
It's not
moment
like-
where anyone with a decent passive insight, we'll
What's
say
that?
16 or above,
Damn it.
can see that Reverie, like, her face, like, blushes a little.
Aww.
And there is just, like, a small amount of tension, and she just says, "That's fine. That's fine."
It's just about the mantle of authority. It's not a statement about anyone's abilities.
Always giving you
Let's
a
stop-
compliment.
Let's stop
You
dwelling on that.
okay?
She's fine.
I don't.
Yeah,
She sounds fine.
She is just fine.
I certainly am.
Let's go, killer.
Okay.
Artie,
I have... So I'm bringing the map back to the Malachor City view.
I love it.
I have recreated Triumph from the ground up, and he still has this effect on, so...
No,
I love
he
it.
deserves it.
Honestly,
Let it go.
It's kind of great though.
Suits him.
It's just like
I
a
can't-
constant.
Aura.
I
I'm just
can't get rid of
pretending
it,
that it's
so
constant
Just
prestidigitation.
his
Oh,
presence about it.
Triumph.
I don't know what to do about it, so-
Amazing.
It's so counterintuitive to his sort of like whole
Demeanor.
demeanor.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah, so...
Alright, well, if we want to talk about it, I did think about this a little bit and put something in my spellbook that lets me locate an object if I am aware of it and within 1,000 feet of it. But it might be more polite to ask first.
that's a great idea. Both of those things are great ideas. Both having the
Locate-
spell and asking first.
Locate object has been tried.
Ah, exciting.
Does that mean it just you weren't close enough?
Could be, although it does persist for a little while, so you can kind of move about. I'm not sure how big this Baron's district
Is it-
is, but
Is it the kind of thing that can be warded against? Like, could it have some sort of?
well,
like-
I'm sure it's a second level spell.
Any kind of divination block would block
Hmm.
locate object, wouldn't it?
It would, and if it's been tried, that's fine. Wish I had known that before I put it in my spell book, but moving on.
If we learn it's not here, that spell will come in handy regardless.
Claudia slowly raises her hand.
You don't have to just talk.
Sorry. What does it smell like?
That's actually a really good question.
Do you have like a scrap
Rev-
of paper?
Reverie, Katja, and Triumph all look at each other, and almost as a group they shrug.
I bet it smells like blood and darkness.
Everything here smells like that.
Old
Right.
paper,
Yeah.
probably, but I don't know if that's going
I-
to necessarily help you differentiate between books.
Well,
Old paper,
what was-
blood, and darkness.
It's a really ancient book that's super important to your people. Was it made with any special materials? Like, it probably is not just regular old paper and
Maybe
leather
it's like
bound,
human
right?
skin.
It's a
Like
magic...
gnome skin.
Okay, it's a magical tome, but it's not the original Book of Nod.
Oh,
Ow.
That makes sense.
Ow.
That is not in our possession.
well, that makes sense. It did seem a bit casual on the whole, the discussion about it.
Birds
Yeah.
feet blended out.
Maybe Lord Achitaris does have the original Book of Nod.
Mm.
I wouldn't know. The last I'd read about it was that it was kept in the vaults at the estate of Lord Venatori, which is not a place any of us want to go.
No,
Is it?
sir.
Isn't
Well-
Reverie a paladin of Nyx? Wouldn't she know?
Reverie just looks at you and says, "No."
Okay. I get paladins and clerics mixed up. Tess, does Jamino have a special book?
Does Jimino have a special book?
Not really. Kind of
It's-
word of mouth.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. Jimino. Jimino is more of a folk tale
A
sort
god
of
of action.
situation. Yeah. I mean, change is sort of part of the process, right? So if things go down from person to person and change a little bit, that's actually better.
The only thing that's really
So
constant
you're
about
saying that what
Jimino,
Jimino needs. Sorry.
it's all right.
I was
The
just-
only thing that's constant about Jimino is,
Nothing is constant.
well, the goddess Dilo set her free forever ago.
They need a choose your own adventure book. That's all I was gonna say. Wasn't important.
So
Yeah,
how are we gonna
sounds
do this? Are we just gonna go up, knock, and say, "Hi, we have some questions," and then throw a bomb?
I think I
We're
really
not
like.
gonna throw a
I'd have to
bomb.
make one.
I like
guess.
the idea. Ori had the idea yesterday about talking to the staff.
Hmm.
And I think that might
That's a good
actually be,
idea.
if we can, I think that's a great place to start.
But again,
Like,
probably
where
want
was
to
it kept?
introduce
Did anyone
ourselves
dust
somewhat
it? Yeah.
officially.
Yeah, I think introducing ourselves is a good idea. Also, if you need, if it would be useful for me to blend in a particular way, I
Well, I
can.
think when I do think we want to avoid saying. We do want to avoid the mantle of authority that Lord Ashitari was directly
You
trying
can
to
stop
avoid.
mentioning that. I will not go in.
No, I just don't think that we should say hi. We were sent by. Never mind.
Honestly, it'd probably be more fun if you did, but
It would be quicker.
You are very quick.
You've noticed.
Yes.
Oh yes, I do. Well, I mean, if you want, like, we could split up, and some of us could go in unseen.
I feel like if we're gonna go the polite and diplomatic route, it
Right.
doesn't look like good faith to go in.
Also, while we do stand in front of Noak's estate, much of his staff does work across the street. And she thumbs behind her, and you turn and you see there is a bookbinders guild.
Let's start
Oh.
there.
Well, that's interesting.
I'll have to
That's
bring my
neat.
weasel inside. Barry.
That's a ferret.
Reverie
You get him a
shrugs.
vest first.
Oh yeah, I gotta get him some armor. That's
I meant like more like a service I'm working vest, but yeah, sure.
I'm sure there's a steward or something that'll tell us.
Maybe we
In
should
my
just talk to his
experience,
people.
with this barony, organization is not their strong suit. So
We'll fit right in.
Maybe that's why I got lost.
I wonder, do they have the copy of the book because they were tasked with making copies of the book?
I think it's like their turn, didn't he say?
If I remember correctly,
He
it was
did,
said
and
that
it seems to
he
be it
was
was their
really
turn.
good at instructing new kindred, and the book was kind of a vital tool in that. So I guess this guy's a good teacher?
it is as you say.
Maybe the book is just on one of their shelves because they're a bookbinders guild. They got their Dewey Decimal System mixed up.
If that is the case and they claim it lost, Lord Achitari will be very annoyed.
But it wouldn't be lost anymore.
Yeah.
Only, well, that's true.
Artie, how do you feel about looking through some books?
I can definitely do that.
Gonna check every shelf in
No.
the Bookbinders Guild.
I'm gonna, based off the information we have, it's most likely not there.
Just come in and say, "We're the library inspectors. We're here to inspect your library. This is a stupid idea."
Well, there's
Yes.
two situations that Ori and Triumph pointed out. They've tried locate, so it's either A, not in the vicinity, or B, they're hiding it by divination logic. So
Or maybe
I mean,
it's just naturally protected against that.
I don't think
already-
Triumph would have tried that if they were right. It's not normally naturally protected by divination magic.
I've never handled it myself. I
Maybe
don't
it's
know.
never been lost before.
That it has not.
Okay.
I just think we don't want to make things too complicated or get in any lies until we need to, right?
I think lying right now, or I guess being deceitful isn't the
There's no
way to
need.
go.
Yeah.
It would undo hostility. If
Plus,
we're
we are
caught in that.
standing here with actually the law. So
We lie, if you have to. It's not unheard of.
that's not helpful, Reverie. But
I like this. Let's do it.
Why
You
don't
need to kick in the front door.
don't do that? Why don't the 5 of you go try and handle this diplomatically? And if you need help, or if a fight breaks out, holla. Triumph will hear you.
Okay. Can you watch
Well, I can
Barry
be-
for me?
Pretty loud.
Watch Barry for me.
Sure.
He doesn't like to be alone.
You got him yesterday, Artie.
He doesn't like to be alone.
He is currently Barry. His head is lolling out the side of your bag of holding, and you just hear.
Oh.
as
No, he's actually sleeping. I'm gonna let
we've
him
got
just sleep.
memes.
Me.
I'm just gonna let him sleep. Don't mind him.
All right.
Adorable.
All right. So,
Right.
We shall approach
Let's go.
Barony Noark.
Well, we're gonna go to the Bookbinders Guild.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait, which one are we starting at?
Well, if we're
Are we
trying,
doing the-
if we're
the
trying to
state?
talk to the staff first, and a number of his staff also work at the Bookbinders Guild, it may make sense to start there.
Sure.
You need to push to talk, Emily.
And Velen does the talking.
Yeah,
Agreed. To that end, she's gonna just lay a
You know, you
hand on
keep
your
saying that,
shoulder.
but I do say stupid stuff like all the time. All right.
Yeah, but you're more convincing than I am, and I can be
Hold
pretty
on.
convincing sometimes.
Before we go in, what's our approach? Are we subtly asking about this? Are we going to, like, what's the approach here? Because this is not my strong suit.
I think honesty is the
Good.
best policy.
I think we just say we're here to try and quietly help locate the book.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We can adjust our strategy if we meet with resistance or something else suspicious happens.
Yep, I like that. I hope it does.
I know you do.
me
Let's go.
too.
So, okay.
I'm gonna tap your shoulder and give you guidance right before we go in, Velen.
As,
Velen is going to think about this for a second, and then she is going to cast. She's going to cast Eagle Splendor on herself before
I
we
was
go
about to do
inside.
that if you didn't do it.
What does that do?
okay.
Advantage on
enhanced
charisma
ability.
based check.
Oh.
Okay.
That's probably
Because
smart.
obviously I need to be even shinier.
There's a way the evening light seems to dapple off your skin that's just charismatic.
Dazzling. Makes the
as-
freckles glow.
As you make
Or
your way
something.
towards the Bookbinders Guild, you see Katja and Reverie both seem to make themselves vanish in completely different ways. Reverie just goes very fast and is gone. Katja
Birdie!
runs up the building and up onto the roof.
Oh. Or what does Artie do?
He's watching that AS.
Triumph tucks his hands into his suit pockets and just strolls off to the side of the street.
He's
And
just some guy.
And you all make your way into the Bookbinders Guild. The Bookbinders Guild is, well, a mess. The instant you enter the door, I need perception checks from everyone.
Is it smell based?
No.
I have to ask.
It smells like parchment and glue.
Aw, I rolled real bad.
I rolled amazing. 20.
Of course you did.
Nice.
Did it not
8.
go through?
I don't see it.
What did you roll?
Well, I rolled it. A 24, natural 19.
Okay.
I don't think mine went through, but it was not good. It was only an 11.
Okay.
Nope. Oh, yeah.
Well,
it did.
with a 24, RT, the first thing you hear is that on the far side of the room, you hear this. It's like this steam-powered press that is rapidly moving And from your ear and your experience as an artificer, you're pretty sure that is some sort of pneumatic press binding books. It's warmer in this room than it was out on the street, and you're pretty sure it's a side effect of that. But you don't see much of the machine. What you see is a room with tables filling the entire center of it, covered in loose parchment. There is no sense of where anything is supposed to be. There are shelves that are lined with rolls of leather, of paperwork that looks like they're just basically held together by maybe tape or glue, or a bunch of metallic clips. That nothing here makes any sense. And you see there are a number of people that are milling about back and forth, and as you enter, a gnome notices all of you as you enter, and the gnome says, hello? Can I help you?
I certainly hope so.
Welcome to the Malachor Bookbinders. What do you, did you send ahead?
No, I'm afraid we don't have an appointment. I'm just here looking for any folks who work. I understand there's several folks who work here at the Bookbinders Guild who are also staff at the Baron's Estate across the street, and I'm trying to coordinate some efforts to locate a missing book. You know how it is when something goes missing. You really just want to get a hold of anybody who might have laid eyes on it at any point, and so I just thought I'd drop by.
You're after a missing book. Roll me a persuasion check at advantage.
With guidance if you need it.
While
I
she's
might.
rolling that, does the press machine sound like it's working correctly with my 24 perception? Or
Yeah,
does
it does.
sound like-
Oh, you
Okay.
wanted to fix it.
It sounds like it's functioning well.
Okay.
Good roll.
If the only thing that functions well in this building is that machine. With a 24, the gnome looks at you. He looks nervous, and he says, can you be specific about the book?
Well, it
Is
is a
it-
matter of some delicacy, so I'd prefer not to speak about it just right out in the open like that.
I see. Okay. I'm
Some
book of-
discretion may be required.
I'm aware of which book you might be speaking of. Okay.
That makes this a little easier.
Yes. It's been a problem for the last week or so. What have you heard?
I believe that it would be best to say that we're here to help, and we are here to help with as light a hand as possible without involving anyone else who might be interested in the disappeared book.
I hope
I
you don't
think it's
take
in the
this question the
it's in
wrong way, but there's no disciplinary action to be taken today, is there?
no.
Roll a
That's
persuasion
one of the
check.
That's one of the reasons why I'm the one having this conversation with you and not someone else.
Roll persuasion at advantage.
Yep.
Can Tess give her guidance quietly again, or is that not?
I feel like it's kind of hard to
How?
give guidance quietly
back.
in the middle of a.
Yeah, just pat her back. I gotcha.
Oh,
gotcha.
I mean, she rolled fucking great.
Yeah, I think that's as good as it can be without being an nat 20. So.
Yeah, it's good enough. The guy, this poor little gnome, seems to visibly relax. I see. All right. I'll tell you what I know. And
Delighted.
he gestures for you to follow him and says, "Come with me into the offices. It's a little noisy in here. All of you, please." And he leads you all through the binding office.
Tess has eyes on Artie just in case he tries to slip away and mess with the machine.
Does Artie do anything?
No.
Seems
If
to be on
it
his
didn't
best
sound
behavior.
like it was working well, he might have. But
Roll me a
sounds
D100.
fine.
Tess doesn't know that. Tess doesn't know how the machine sounds, but she does know Artie.
32.
As all of you are making your way through the offices, just before a door closes, Artie, you hear a and then someone says, "Oh, fuck! No, 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 no!" And then there's banging noises as the machine has very much stopped.
It's a
There is a
siren
hand.
song.
There is a hand
okay.
on Artie's
I gotta
shoulder.
go. No, I gotta fix it. It's a
Artie,
machine.
no,
You guys
no.
got this. I'm not even gonna talk. I'll be right in the other room. Let me just help him out. It might give us the upper hand. Hey,
Artie.
Mr. No Man, I don't know your name or anything, but I'm gonna go help fix that machine because it sounded like it's on the fritz. Yep, no problem. Bye.
Excuse?
I got you. Don't worry. Just help
I'm
them.
gonna
help
real
you.
quick tap Artie's shoulder and give him guidance before he disappears.
I didn't mean to be rude. I'm Master Biner Faulkner. Where did you go?
He's an artificer. He really would like to help with any machine, any mechanical difficulty at all, or really any machine he hasn't seen before.
That is a very expensive device. If something were to happen to it, I would lose a lot.
No one is more qualified, I promise.
Roll a persuasion. At
Or deception.
disadvantage. Because he does not know you, nor Artie. A 9. Okay. Excuse me. He like squeezes his way between your legs, chasing after Artie. Artie, you arrive at this press. You see that it is a simple machine. One side feeds in what looks like strips of perfectly squared leather, and the other side feeds in parchment, up to a number of stacks. You see that one of the feeding ramps has a lid that is stuck open. There is a pipe that has clearly burst, and steam is just all throughout the entire side of this room. What do you do?
So is it just I'm gonna first off just I'm gonna look through the machine. That's what I notice is wrong with it, is just the pipe burst.
Mm-hmm. There are 3 individuals who are trying to pull parchment out of the machine, and another one is running around looking for tools.
Nah, you're just gonna jam it. Here, let me go. This is simple. I'm gonna try to make it not so loud too. This is absurd. How do you guys work like this? So
Who
first
are
thing
you?
I'm gonna. Don't worry about it. I'm here to fix it.
I don't know what he's up to. Get that paper out of there. Okay, What are you doing?
So I'm gonna grab the pipe and I'm gonna try to put it in place, and almost first start by trying to cast mending on it.
Okay. There currently is pressure emerging from the pipe, so your mend is going to be a spell contest between basically the DC of the machine when it was built and your spellcasting modifier. So roll me a spell attack, basically.
Can I do guidance? Or is it no, because it's a spell
You
attack?
have Tessa's
It's a
guidance.
spellcasting check, so it is technically an ability check. So yes.
Okay.
The DC is 16.
Okay, cool. Say a million.
If you rolled a 16.
26, 28.
You and your mending spell, you fuse the pipe, and because the magic, your magic is so potent, even the pressure cannot blow out the mend as it's happening. And over the next minute, as you run the nodes of your mending spell around the pipe, at first everyone is like, "What are you doing?" and just like try to pull you away from it. And then the one who has managed to find a tool is watching you, and you hear him say, "No, wait a minute. We have a genius on our hands.
Let him cook.
I told you.
I want to do a little investigation check. I want to see if there's anything I could do to make this machine a little bit less loud as well. So, like, if it involves, I have oil if need be, if it's just oiling the right parts, or something of that nature.
Yeah, roll investigation. And at this point, as you're finishing the mending spell, every bookbinder worker is crowded up around behind Artie.
Oh!
The
Just gonna-
master binder
just
gnome. Jesus Christ. Okay, the master binder gnome is also looking over your shoulder, and you hear him just saying, "Oh," just like tittering, like wanting to say something as you're finishing this repair.
Just a little face.
I need all of you to know that this sounds ridiculous. At first, when he started mending, it was just steam blowing out. But as he's mending, it's and it's just suddenly gone. With that 33 in investigation, fucking hell. Yeah, you know exactly what is wrong with it. The reason why it is so loud, there are what look like leather and rubber receiving pads that the press slams into, and they have completely worn away, and it's just metal crashing into metal. It wouldn't really require oil, but those, whatever it was that stops the horrible metal on metal sound is gone. That would need to be replaced.
So I'll just give them a brief. You gotta take care of your machinery. When was the last time this rubber guard has been replaced? Just get the rubber guard and you guys will be working in peace in no time.
Noted.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Master Officer.
Not a problem.
This halfling that's been talking to you is like looking at what you've pointed out, and you see he's almost like blushing, but he is respectful.
Tess looks down at him and goes, "I told you."
Now, Mr. Masterbind Worker Bookman.
Masterbinder Faulkner.
Masterbinder Faulkner, let's go take care of our business now that I helped you out a little bit, you know? One hand washes the other.
Yeah, let's do that. And the gnome resumes leading the way back to his office.
Can I insight check this gnome?
Yeah.
Is he, like, impressed? Is he indignant? Am I gonna roll poorly? Yes. I rolled a 5.
With a
Smells like
5,
books in here.
everyone who was watching already repair this, and now that it's repaired, are just kind of looking around as if they don't know what to do. That's what you got with a 5.
And she's like, huh, me too. Anyways.
All right. As all of you make your way, following the gnome into the back offices, he steps into his office, straight off the hallway. It's a tiny room. There is a desk, a filing cabinet, his chair, and that's it. There's maybe 3 feet of room to stand in on the other side of the desk as he climbs up behind it. Gnome. As he sits down, he says, "Right. I didn't expect that. Right. First, I am glad that it's repaired. Thank you. Anyway, he's appears to be all out of sorts. Sorry. You're after a specific book, one that the Baron Noak was responsible for caring for.
Yes, it was in his keeping, I understand.
Yes. We here at the Bookbinders are often visited by Noak and his kindred. They come here often for research purposes, and also just to kill the time, because it turns out a fresh kindred has lots of energy and strength, and they don't know what to do with it. And so we spend that energy here, making new bindings, pressing out parchment, giving them menial tasks that just spend away the night until they calm down. It's common. I assume you're familiar with kindred and their nuances, since you are doing this task for Lord Achitari. Yes?
At least somewhat familiar, yes.
I feel like I've gotten ahead of you. Okay. Let me roll back a little. What do you know about Baron Noak?
Most of what I know comes from the conversation that I had with Lord Achitari when we accepted this assignment. Apparently, he frequently works with fledglings to get them orientated to their new lives as kindred. And
that's his whole responsibility.
And that was why he was holding the book, because it matched with that responsibility so well.
Not really. Okay. That is where the disconnect occurs. The Book of Nod is passed through every district all of them are responsible for it at a point in time.
That's what I said.
It was Noak's turn, and while the Book of Nod is very useful for teaching fledglings the basics, you don't need it. Which is why Baron Noak is still capable of training fledglings, even though the Book of Nod is missing. No one knows where it is. That's the problem. But yes.
Oh, I was just going to say, I heard the Baron might be a bit forgetful, shall we say?
Yes. His mind is no steel trap, unfortunately. It happens to people.
Wow. Who among us can say that it is, except maybe Artie?
Me.
Of course, and you, yes.
So, last week, there was a new fledgling kindred, or rather, there was an individual who wished to become a kindred, and they went to Baron Noak's district in which to sign off the paperwork and become, hopefully, to request Noak as a sire. Around this time period is when the Book of Nod went missing, and so I have to assume that individual is one of the reasons why the book was missing. Baron Noak dismissed my concerns as if they were picturings of an old man, which they are, but still, I think I'm correct. So, it might be in your best interest to go find out who this fledgling was, because they are gone, as is the book. And while they were not with the book at the same time, I mean, one doesn't vanish without the other, at least in my opinion. I think they were here for a purpose.
That is interesting.
I have a
Claudia?
I'm sorry, I couldn't see you around the corner. What?
So did this person who requested to become a kindred, were they successful?
I don't know. I have to assume not. They were gone too soon.
Do you
And
think they
sometimes the
took it
process
out of
takes up to
spite?
a week. I don't... Maybe?
But you said there was paperwork, yeah?
Yes. When you decide to become a kindred, you sign a contract that you will agree to the stakes of becoming a kindred underneath the Times law, which is that the existence of kindreds are to be protected and hidden from the common public.
Just writing this down.
This is for my blog.
So when you sign that paperwork, and should you break it, you are forfeiting your life. So that is why it's important that all kindred who sign under Times law agree that the existence of kindred is to be protected by maintaining a guise of deception.
And if that, I don't mean to interrupt, but if that person were seeking Baron Noak as a sire, does that mean the paperwork would be filed with him at the barony?
Yes.
Okay. So we need to get a hold of those records so that we can determine the identity of the applicant.
That would be a good start. Also, if you could find where they went, that would be a better start, I think. I doubt that they would sign where they've run off to on their contract.
No, seems unlikely.
It's also likely
What do
that
they
they
look
may
like?
have chosen another alias. I don't know. I didn't see them with my own eyes.
Right, so we need to go find someone who saw them and someone who can let us look at this paperwork.
Is it possible that they were working for someone else? Is there someone that
Almost
maybe has a grudge
absolutely
against
possible.
the Baron?
Absolutely possible.
Like some sort of would maybe want him to look foolish or something?
Let me roll.
Or someone who wanted to make a big name for themselves with the Thieves Guild.
Like the Thieves Guild. Yeah, that's true.
I suspect, that you mention it, there has been rumor of a camp of hunters, vampire hunters, that has been seen outside of the skirts of Malachor. I don't know why they are tolerated, but they're not within the city limits, and they're not, well, Lord Achitaris doesn't believe they're dangerous, so they might be worth looking into. If the Thieves Guild, however, that's a thought, is maybe the Thieves Guild decided stealing the Kindred's Bible might be a good claim for a seat of power.
It's a prank, bro.
Well, that's a thought.
Be gone.
What do you mean? by a prank.
Oh, as a little haha, we got your book.
Demonstrating that they aren't afraid of the authority figures.
Oh, that would be
Feather in their cap. That kind of thing.
We're a thief.
I'm not saying it's a good idea.
We're a thief to make that choice. They have not lived here long, and they won't live here much longer. So,
Who has this paperwork that we need to go find?
My suspicion is that the clerk who was handling the paperwork would also be someone who saw the agent in question.
For certain, it would have been in person.
So that's I think our next step is to locate that clerk and ask about it. Once we know more about the person who filled out the paperwork, we might be able to start asking around to determine where they went, who they were working with, that kind of thing.
Should you find the book, please put in a good word with Lord Achitaris with me, if you wouldn't mind. I feel as though there might be some tensions there, as I have been more perceptive than you might have liked in the past.
Under one condition.
Yes?
Take goddamn care of your machinery. It deserves it.
I will speak with my mechanist, thank you very much.
You don't want me speaking with them?
No, I don't.
Oh my god.
Thank you,
Burn
Master
it,
Binder
makes it.
Buckner.
So, is that the last time the book was seen?
I don't know.
Okay.
You are everything I know. I've heard from guards and rumors
right.
from what I've heard from the main building.
All right. It's still useful information, and I appreciate the orientation.
I'm glad to be of service, especially since you've prepared a press, which I didn't expect to break.
Well then, let's go find the administrative staff in the main building.
That wish you luck. And he steps up and he begins to escort you out, showing you the way through the halls and out of the Bookbinders Guild.
Okay, this isn't my strong suit, but just during that conversation when Claudia wasn't speaking, general insight check?
Sure.
To
Roll
see
an
if,
insight check.
if I can pick up anything. Probably not.
I feel like you're the only one that rolls insight check.
Yeah, I know, and it's not my 12.
With a 12, this gnome, you get the impression that it's the sort of the look someone gets when someone is finally listening to them.
Aw, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. He's had this theory about where it went for a while, and the Baron's been like, meh.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Okay, Claudia's like, I feel good about this.
Okay. As you all make your way out of the Bookbinders Guild, is there anything you do before you leave?
I got nothing.
Can I glance around to just get a sense of what kind of books these are?
Sure, roll a perception.
Nope.
With an
Tess is
8,
distracted.
the ones you see on the table appear to be novels. Some of them appear to be of dubious quality.
Like in their binding or in their writing?
Oh, the bindings are all excellent.
I'm gonna say,
It's the writing. Yeah. Okay.
These are the threepenny novels.
Yeah. As you leave, let me go ahead and pull out.
as we
this.
leave the smut house.
As you leave the Bookbindings Guild. They have lots of books. They might not all be smut. You emerge out on the street.
Nah.
Well, that sounded interesting.
You could hear that from all the way out here?
Yeah,
How do you do that?
That's incredible.
with my ears.
Yeah, that's
Is that a
you're so cool.
like a special thing that you have?
No, it's just the scrying spell.
I feel bad that you had to hear that poor machine yelping for help.
Good work, Artie.
The
Yeah.
least it deserved.
All right.
That was smart. That was smart.
I mean, I think he would have done it even if it was stupid, but it was helpful.
It
let's,
certainly
uh,
greased the
I was-
wheels a little bit.
I see.
Literally. So, onward.
Yeah.
I got
Tess is-
50 minutes left on this spell. Let's go.
Tess is gonna like scruffle Artie's hair.
Mhm.
That like best friend scruffle.
This is so nice. We don't even have to fill them in on any of the information. That's like half the job there.
No, right?
I'll be sure to tell Katja how good you are with your hands.
Please
Oh,
do.
God.
Okay.
Onward.
You see Triumph like smirks a little bit as he leads the way across to the barony's estate. But he steps to the
Tess
side.
is also smirking. Thinks
What a
it's
good
hilarious.
wingman.
As you approach the barony's estate, you see there is a guard outside. It is a half-orc individual who's fairly short for a half-orc, about maybe 5'7", 5'8". But he's a brick shit house.
He's
bit. And he looks at you all.
short king.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of looks like he has something to prove.
Yep. They always do.
As you approach, he says, "Yeah, what can I help you all with?"
Good evening. I'm here on business. I need to see whoever does the administrative work here, applicants, clerk papers, that kind of thing. My name's Velen Arite.
Right. And the rest of you, what are you all here for?
They're my staff.
Roll persuasion. Or deception, I guess.
I love it.
I mean, that could be either, really.
Better modifier.
I'll say in the spirit. Which one do you think? Are you trying to persuade him, or are you trying to just get by him?
I'm just trying to get by him.
So
I'm gonna
deception.
roll.
Tess looks deferential.
Or he does not.
Claudia looks confused. Solid roll.
With a 24, yeah, he just shrugs and says, "I do goes trouble," and the door opens. If the Bookbinders Guild seemed like a mess, this is an absolute disaster.
Oh boy.
Hey.
Immediately, when you look inside the door, there is a large black Labrador dog in the middle of the room that is currently chewing on a couch pillow. And when you all enter, it still has the pillow in its mouth, but it just looks up at you like, and its tail
Claudia
begins
has
to wag.
stars in her eyes. She looks like she's antsy, like she wants to go over, but she's trying to maintain professional decorum.
As you look in and see this dog, suddenly the guard next to you says, "Buster, no!" And he runs over and he pulls the pillow out of the dog's mouth. And he says, "Right, sorry, you'll find the Baron. Let go!" And he just yanks the pillow
I
out.
understand. I have a favorite pillow myself.
It's shredded. There is pillow innards all over the floor. The half-orc
Good
guard
dog.
just like looks down at it with defeated shoulders and says, "The Baron's office is down that hole to the right. Just announce yourselves."
Thank you.
Thank you.
You hear the patter of people running upstairs. It smells not pleasant in here, Claudia. Mostly it smells like old chocolate, with just a hint of like cleaned up urine.
Oh boy. This is the
Milk?
kennel. We're in the kennel.
Yeah. You can hear the
Ew.
conversations of lots of people occurring from all around. But the guard who has retrieved the pillow from the dog, and the dog is now greeting each of you. The guard throws the pillow back onto the couch where you see every other pillow has also been mangled. He goes back outside.
Since it is chaotic in here, and he told us just to go downstairs ourselves, I'm going to cast See Invisibility on myself.
Okay. Roll perception.
Or he's so fucking smart.
I know, right?
17?
Nice.
With a 17. Hold on. Standing in the corner of the room, you see there is a young woman with red hair pulled into a ponytail that's hanging low down her back. Ori, you're the only one who can see her. She is leaning against the wall. It looks as though she's looking over your group. She does not think you've seen her yet.
Okay, I was just looking for Triumph's scrying eye, but okay. Just, I thought, and whatever else we might see. Okay, is
With
she
a
like
17,
armed?
you don't see Triumph's scrying eye.
Fucking whatever.
They're the best.
Does she look armed? Yes. She has a belt lined with daggers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this group.
Velen is totally just razzling all over the dog.
Just
Like,
So is Claudia.
yeah, we're both just like.
The dog
Tess,
is remarkably well behaved by the attention. Is just tail is wagging. It's doing the full body wag where it's like midsection is bending quickly. Yeah, it's very excited about all the people.
I'm gonna
Tess
pretend
is
I
keeping
can't
eyes on
see her.
Barry.
Roll deception or performance. I'll allow either. Ori.
I think it's the same. It is the same. We're gonna do performance. I'm acting. 19.
19. Okay, hold on.
Nice.
I'm acting.
So casual.
You seem to have convinced her that you don't know she's there. How long do you all spend razzing the dog?
Oh, not that long.
Okay.
I
Body has
just
to be torn away.
I don't
Roll me
razz the
animal
dog at all.
handling.
I would cast Animal Friendship. My first
no.
ranger spell.
this random dog.
Like, he already wants to be your friend.
Yeah, but I think
It's
so
a lab.
because
It wants to be everyone's friend.
Claudia wasn't trained in like the traditional sense of a ranger. Like she had pointers from Gideon, but she's gained her newest ranger level without a specific guide of a person, and I think she casts it without realizing that she's cast it. While she's like just
So you cast animal
Scruffling the
friendship
dog?
on the Labrador.
Yeah.
Okay. It considers you a friend.
yeah.
It
There's
did
no
already, but
discernible change.
it's still okay. So Valen, roll me animal handling as you part from the dog.
Okay. All right.
I would like to note Artie is staying far away and keeping Barry. Like, don't worry, he's not gonna get you, Barry.
Yeah, Tess has
Barry
eyes
is
on Barry.
unconscious. With a 20,
This is like
Valen,
very specifically between these two.
the Labrador, colloquially named Buster, seems as though it's just content to go where you go.
Yay.
It seems to have some inclination towards Claudia over anybody else. And as you maybe eventually head your way down towards the office, the Labrador just kind of trots along next to her. Anytime that you look at the Labrador, its tail wags and it looks like it wants to topple onto its back so you could rub its stomach. But it doesn't because you keep moving.
As we move down the hall, does the redheaded lady follow?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna actually, because people I would tell were razzing a dog, or he kind of scooches over to Cal, and lets him know there is an invisible
here.
woman.
Roll stealth.
Just so that somebody else knows in case she yells about it. Oh boy, so many rolls.
I mean, you are trying to hide your true intentions
You were the
from
one
someone who is
doing
looking
a
at you.
thing.
Okay.
I'm whispering to him. She doesn't know.
You have a reroll.
I do, but like, come on, I don't care.
Okay.
Do you want? I have so much inspiration.
As you...
I have one. I'm not using it on it.
Alright.
So.
I can't flash a genius because I don't know what she's doing, right?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't know what she's doing.
Sometimes you just have to let the dice be dice.
Yep. Acceptance.
Well, with a 12, Cal just kind of nods and says, "All right, good to know."
Hmm.
Is she cute?
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you like redheads?
I mean, oh, sure.
Well, sure.
He just kind of shrugs. Well, maybe not if she stabs me in the back. Just let me know if she's coming close.
What's the idea?
She does
Meanwhile,
not
the
seem
rest
to
of
have
us-
heard you.
Are approaching the office.
Yeah. You.
Okay.
The office door is open, and it is not really an office. It's kind of a sitting room. But you do see there is a tiefling in there who seems to hold himself in a respectable manner, but all you see that across the small room from him are a number of young-looking individuals, men and women of various races that appear to be between the ages of 18 to 25. And this tiefling is speaking to them and explaining some gruesome details. As you enter the door, he says, "Well, the first thing you have to know is that you will die." And then, as you enter, he looks up and says, "Oh, hello there. What timing? Can I?"
Oh, well, I always like to make an entrance.
Apparently so. Is
Good
this,
evening.
Is this important? Can it maybe wait a few minutes?
I can wait a few minutes.
Okay. Excellent. And then he returns looking to the individuals and he says, "Apologies." And then he goes on to explain what will happen if they sign the contract. Which, to summarize, he explains in front of you all that a kindred will drain them of blood and then provide them some of their own blood. They will die for a short period of time, after which they will come back to life, where they will then consume a criminal. And then they are free to live their life as they wish, so long as they follow the rules that they've already read. Afterwards, he says they should all think about it, read some of the literature, and that he has to handle the guests that have just arrived. So the four that he was speaking to leave the room. And then he turns to you and he says, "Right. I assume you're here on business. I have not met you or seen you before."
That's correct. My name is Velen Arite, and I'm here conducting an inquiry. Do you handle all of the contract work for new fledglings here?
Not all of it, but I come recommended. I am good at what I do.
You did seem to have a very illuminating presentation.
Yes. Are you interested?
Not at the moment, but it was certainly educational.
I am glad to educate you.
It's my understanding that you had an inquiry about a week ago. Do you keep records of all of those things?
Of course. Yes, we have receipts of contracts for every individual that comes in wishing to die.
And if one were to be seeking information about a particular applicant, would you be the person to ask?
I would. But I fear I have not even introduced myself nor learned who all of your companions are. I am Baron Verity Noark.
Oh, so you handle all of this paperwork yourself?
Of course I do.
You don't have a clerk handling any of this?
I did. But I prefer to keep my hands on the work.
Understandable. Particularly when, well, accidents might occur.
Mm-hmm.
Information might go missing.
I think I understand your purposes of being here.
I thought you might.
And yet I'm still in the dark as to who all of your friends are.
Well, I'm sure that introductions can be made. As I said, I'm Velen Arite. These are my friends. We are all from out of town, working on an assignment. The idea being some discretion would be required and some delicacy, which Velen kind of looks to the side. It was deemed that maybe an outsider's touch would be better for this.
I see. You mean good Lord Achitaris decided not to have his hound dogs handle this?
Yeah.
Delicately put. Alright. Just for the sake of this, please roll me a persuasion check at advantage. We'll see how receptive the Baron is to you.
Ugh.
Boy, that
Well,
advantage could have been a 1.
Good thing it's an
think-
advantage because that was a natural one. Yeah.
You should.
I'm gonna flash a genius +5.
Okay. So 17.
I mean, okay. I mean, I could
You're
use
gonna
my
reroll.
inspiration on it. I'm gonna
This is a
use
big
my
one.
inspiration on it. This is like the thing that we're doing here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use my reroll.
Go ahead.
And then you can flash your genius it. Oh, that's so much better.
That looks like a
Oh,
natural 20.
Ugh. She's very
What
cute.
a
I know.
good,
Yes.
what a good use of inspiration. Shit, went from a natural 1 to a natural 20.
I am pleased that he saw to it not to cause any strife where there did not need to be any. Well, that does explain how I've not heard of you before. You all seem to be entertaining, at least. Such a interesting group of people.
And Velen will also just like lift the necklace a little bit so that she can demonstrate that she's a friend of the kindred in addition to being, an agent.
He just kind of raises a hand in like an assent, and he says, "All right, I'll tell you what I know. The Book of Nod, you've heard of it, is a Bible is a strong word, a rule book for kindred. I have used it a few times for more inquiring minds who wanted to become a kindred but wanted to know the specifics. I've only had to pull it off the shelf maybe 2 or 3 times in the last year. The last time I pulled it off the shelf was for an initiate known as Joseph Crate.
Right?
Crate.
Traight.
KR.
I thought it was our kobold friend.
Great. It was great all along.
Great would never.
Seemed, respectable enough. Looked like he was a little down on his luck. Clothes were a little dirty, hair was a little unkempt. Maybe he mentioned he had traveled from far. It was fine with me. The sort of questions that I ask when it comes to a new kindred is not where they come from, but where they want to go. What they hope for in the future when they have been given the gift of immortality, and if they successfully convince me, I grant them said gift. But not always. It depends. It's kind
Where
of.
did Mr. Krite want to go?
He said that he wished to learn all he could about the world, and he needed the time to do it. I am a bit of a soft spot for the curious, so I was happy to share with him the Book of Nod so he could look through it. When I placed it back, I put it back exactly where it was originally from, in my vault room, atop its pedestal. I did not see anything amiss. However, the next day, it was gone.
Did Mr. Krite have the opportunity to observe the vault?
No, not once.
Would you be averse to allowing us to look at the vault?
With me accompanying you, perhaps.
I have absolutely no objection to having you along. I just want to get a look at the room and maybe see if there's any...
I would also
Right?
limit the number of people that could be in the vault, so just 2 of you. please.
In that case, I want Claudia and Artie to do it.
Yeah. That's a good team.
Can I bring your dog?
You wish to bring Buster. He's taken a
Okay.
liking to you. It's fine with me.
Claudia's like crouched down, like with an arm around the dog. She's been like that the whole time they've been in this room.
The dog does not like seem to be trying to lick you, but it is just sitting there like happy that you are hugging it. That's fine. He's not usually
Yeah.
allowed in there, but if I'm there I can yell at him if he tries to eat anything.
Okay.
We do this now.
Let's go.
I guess so. Velen,
Oh,
is quiet.
She's hurrying.
she walked away.
I'm sorry. I am here.
Very well.
With if only two are going in, I want it to be you two. I think that's going to be more useful than me going in.
Okay.
I got some questions on your vault procedure, on when it opens and who has access, so on and so forth. How many times a day is it opened? Who opens it?
It opens when I provided blood. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so you're the only one with access to it?
Does only your blood work, or can it be any blood?
Only mine.
Okay. Let's
Follow
go check
me.
it out.
He makes the way down, away from this office, and as he
Did
does,
Mr. Krite receive some of your blood?
no, he had only begun the process of filling out
I see.
paperwork, and that
That's a
is
good
the
question.
last step, as they say.
Would the blood from the fletchlings that you have turned, would that
No.
work?
It would not.
Okay, good.
It has to be mine from mine own heart.
Okay.
And as he leads the way, I assume all of you are following.
Oh, I thought only some of them could go.
We can only two can go in.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
but
guess
I
we
think
can
the
walk
rest of us
up
can
to
still
it.
go to the
Is there anything anybody's looking for or doing on the way?
Is that
Um,
still there?
yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on the redhead, see if she's still following us.
She certainly is. She's
Mhm.
staying about
I'd like-
30 feet back as far as she can.
I'd like to keep an eye out for anything that looks like it's a door to, or like it could be a secret entrance or a trap door or anything like that.
Roll investigation.
Okay.
I want to see. I don't know what these corridors look like, but like obviously I can't see the invisible person. But can I just have my head on a swivel, like kind of have my guard up for? Is there anyone that's watching us particularly closely, or
So-
like paying
I don't see.
attention in a way that might like raise flags?
Roll a perception. There are
Rolling
a
really
lot
well
of
tonight, guys.
There's a lot of people in these halls. They are... Most of them seem to look reverentially at the Baron. They all look at you with curiosity. They don't seem to care who you are. They just... they look at you wondering why you're there, or assuming that you're here to become a kindred. Or perhaps you're part of the barony already. They don't really seem to pay you much mind. The only one they actually seem to pay any attention to is the Baron. In his wake, you are kind of not important.
Rude.
Well, that's the reality of it. I'm sorry. As you make your way down the steps, suddenly taking a sharp right turn, there is a steel door that the Baron pushes open. It gives away freely, and then you are walking through a lit hallway that makes its way through an enormous library. The hall's walls are made of bookshelves, and they are well over 20 feet tall. suddenly the right-hand bookshelf gives way, and you're out in an enormous library with tables lining the middle, and just books and scrolls upon books and scrolls. And with a high passive investigation, Artie, most of these books are magical tomes, spell books.
Wait, my passive is high too. Do I
Then
also
you
see
also
magic
see
books?
that. Yes. You see lots of spell books.
Ooh.
Do you get excited?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You also see tomes that are literally spell books, like a book dedicated to individual spells and their use. Beyond that, at the far end of the library, you see there is an arched stone door, which, perhaps archaically, in the center of it has a single spike. As you approach, the Baron steps up to the spike, and he says, "I hope you do not mind if my guard is nearby."
Of course not.
As he says that, nothing else changes, but Ori, you watch as the invisible red-haired woman steps up next to the door.
Oh, she's supposed to be there.
The Baron presses his hand onto the spike. He takes a short little breath and then pushes his hand down. And as he does, the vault releases, and all of you suddenly smell ozone, Artie, which you recognize as magic. The door gives way and rolls to the side.
That's so cool. I know what you mean.
Yeah. The vault is old. It is stone on the inside. There is a stone pedestal in the middle of the room. This room at least, must be thousands of years old compared to the rest of the structure. And as he enters, there is a pedestal in the center of the room with nothing on it. There are a number of display cases along the insides of the vault where you can see weapons and garments and other tomes. All of them look really, really well secured. The Baron looks and he says, "Remember just the two of you." And he points to Claudia and Artie.
Claudia steps up.
Yep.
Looks at Artie nervously.
Ah, okay. This will be okay. Okay.
As you
So
enter the vault, you feel a strange clinging film press against your face and then body as you walk through the vault's entrance. And then you're inside, and it's as if it never happened. Do you have any magical effects on you right now, Artie?
Like just status effects, anything? No, not besides my magic items. Yeah, I got like magical tinkerings and shit.
They all deactivate.
Oh
shit. I don't smell like flowers anymore. Fuck.
Does my death ward drop on Claudia?
It would be inactive when you enter the room, which you would suddenly feel that, Tess, that suddenly your spell, you feel that tendril connecting you to Claudia, but it suddenly feels deadened.
I better not die in this room.
No, it's my
Tess
chance. No.
Her brow knits a little bit.
I'm assuming I know what that, like I know that my magical
Roll
effects
Arcana.
are. Yeah.
Claudia's just like, I'm in a room.
32.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, with a 32, you have read about a dead magic zone. That's what this is.
Okay, so that answers my first question I was even gonna ask. So you got a dead magic zone. That's great. Okay, let's give this a once over.
What are you
I'm
looking
gonna just,
for?
I don't know. Out of the over the table? No fucking clue.
Okay.
This thing seems impenetrable. I'm going to. Me, Dooch, no fucking idea how they did this.
Artie's a
Artie,
genius, though.
he's gonna once over. He's gonna probe a couple questions on security. You're like, yeah, I know they can't go invisible or anything, but you know, there's some rogues out there who you wouldn't even know are there.
Could
So I'm
they
just gonna ask
turn
a couple
into
of
an
questions.
animal in here?
Yeah.
No, not
Like-
in the dead magic zone.
Yeah.
So like polymorph or
Polymorph would not work.
druidic magic. Okay.
A wild shape walking into a dead magic zone would become themselves.
Okay. I guess I'll do a once over on the room.
Sure, roll
See if there's
investigation.
any way. Yeah. I feel like I should do it at disadvantage just because, but
Why?
Don't hinder yourself when
Doesn't
the
matter.
DM can do that for you.
I rolled a million.
Yeah.
A 19. Holy shit.
I rolled a million.
There are a few things in this room that catch your eye. There is a dagger that is behind one of the display cases that is black and purple. It seems to gleam with energy, and that strikes you as weird because
Mhm.
this is a dead magic zone. A magical object should not possess magic in here, or at least its magic should be inactive, and yet you sense an aura from this dagger behind of pain.
What's going on with that magic dagger in your dead magic zone?
That is an artifact created by one of the gods. It would not be muted by such simple devices.
What god, if you don't mind me asking?
That is Marcellan diplomacy.
Do I know who that is?
We went to Mercilla's temple. You gave a coin.
You know
it
who
turned into
Marcella
smoke.
is, yes?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was made a little offering to her not so long ago.
Yes, the name of the weapon is Marcellan diplomacy.
Oh.
I love that.
Oh.
I'm not in there, but I love it.
Okay. Okay. Now, besides the artifact being an artifact, anything with that pain, that when the display case, blah blah.
I'm sorry?
Does that have any magical effect to it? Is there anything that they could have, I'm fucking drawing at strings.
I know
here.
you
Okay,
are. I'm
okay.
going to ask you to roll me Arcana. I'm going to give you an answer when you provide the roll.
Okay. A million.
Yeah,
Another
Artie,
19.
Artie,
Good lord.
you are pretty damn confident that pane of glass is just glass. You think this room is...
Nice.
It defeats magic.
Impenetrable.
This vault seems pretty damn airtight to you. You don't know how someone could have gotten in here without the Baron's permission and then used magic to get back out, or deceived the vault. You don't know. You don't think they did. You don't think they could have.
So in my head, it's two things. It's a non-magic user, like a very, very talented rogue, or an inside job. That's Dooch's mind right now over the table. So I'm kind of gonna just assess that situation. And is there anything else that I can kind of gleam, or any other ideas that Artie may have besides those two on there? You want like an intelligence check, or to try
Are
to
you
put some
okay?
pieces
So you're
together?
you're hoping that Artie the character could solve this for you.
A little better than I could, yes.
Okay.
Even if it's just a hint.
Just a little help from Artie.
Sure.
For Artie.
Roll me straight intelligence. Yeah.
Okay.
I get a bit high with a little help from Artie.
1,000.
823. Okay. You don't believe the pedestal is empty. He describes entering the vault and putting the book back where it was, on the pedestal. But there's nothing on the pedestal. And you don't think anybody could have gotten in here.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't know if I was missing anything.
I'm misremembering.
Try something.
Of course.
Can I sniff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
while Artie's looking over everything with like a critical Artie eye, Claudia just kind of looks around and then she shifts.
You can't.
So her, not like a werewolf,
You can't.
bestial shift. Really?
There's
Nothing?
no
Shit.
magic in here. You cannot. I'm sorry. Even magical abilities. You are a mundane person right now.
Dad.
Can I still sniff anyways?
Yeah, you can still smell.
Okay. Do I still have
This is-
advantage?
No.
This
'cause
is
you
a
can't shift.
dead sniff zone.
I know.
There's no
I'm just-
I'm gonna use my inspo to reroll that
Okay.
because my pride.
But your
Okay.
sniffer's deactivated. It's
My
not your fault.
sniffer, but my nose works. 16's better.
Okay. This room smells of dust, stone, and stale air. It smells like the sort of old attic that no one goes into for a long time. It doesn't smell like a place that you'd want to be for very long. Specifically, though, you do smell just an old room. You don't smell anything that you wouldn't expect to smell here. Buster
She
looks
would
up
look
at you and just...
Yeah, I don't get it either.
She would look at Artie and say,
I don't know if they could have gotten in here.
I'm kind of pondering over a few things. We can discuss. Baron, I do appreciate you showing us. This is a start.
Please, just call me Verity.
Okay. Yeah, I called you Baron. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't remember your name.
Oh,
Mhm.
You were being so charming.
I mean, honesty is the best policy.
So, what do you think of my vault? And what do you think might have happened? How
I
did
think
someone get in?
it's a work of art. I think it's beautiful. Everything about it, the simplicity yet the efficiency of it.
now he's being charming.
I
Mhm.
did not make this vault. You don't have to take
Oh,
it,
no,
as
no.
you say.
I'm not going for that. I'm just giving credit where credit's due.
Mhm. Yes, it is a magnificent work. My home was built around it. And it wasn't my
Now-
home first. You should know.
Let me
I am
ask you
not
this.
that old.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this, because I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? How
Mhm.
susceptible are you to any memory-altering magic? Is this something you're impervious to? Is this a possibility?
Roll me a persuasion check.
Like, not that I'm planning on using any, just, chatting you up.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to
I mean,
decipher
I feel like
all
it's pretty good
possibilities.
faith question in an anti-magic zone, like he couldn't cast it anyways.
5.
Oh man.
I said it kind of rude.
You'd been rolling so high until then.
Yeah, it was
Two
different.
19s in a row
It
previously.
is hard to ask people a polite question about modify memory, to be fair.
Are you implying that I have been charmed?
Well, like I said, I always want to give you the benefit of the doubt. You seem like a genuinely nice person. I don't want to think there's any malice or ill intent on your behalf, you know? So I'm knocking out all the potential possibilities
is-
before going to worst case.
That is a remarkably accusatory way of saying you're not accusing someone.
He has a really bad way of speaking to anyone.
I mean, no, you're not wrong. I'm not very graceful with the words.
Can we leave the vault because my nose isn't working and I'm uncomfortable?
I think that would be best, yes.
Mhm.
If you have seen everything you need to see, let us
Yeah.
leave.
Beautiful work of art, though.
Again, I did not do it. As you leave the room, it seems as though the vault knows that the Baron left it as the door back into place behind it.
As soon as they step out, Claudia takes a really deep inhale.
You smell the rich scent of parchment and old books.
And this time she's shift sniffing. Snifting.
You're okay.
Because I want to roll better.
You can roll
I don't want to get the
perception if
smells.
you'd
Give
like.
her the smells.
More books.
I
and
rolled
parchment.
way better. A natural 1 and a natural 19 for 24. So her face does the snout shift while she's puffing the air.
I think I understand why you are so uncomfortable. What did you roll? A 24?
24.
Yeah, you smell everything in here.
Give me your smells.
Um,
What does the
The-
Baron smell like?
The Baron smells like cherry liqueur.
Oh
Nice.
my.
Good for him.
Underneath that, you smell what is probably cinnamon incense. And remarkably absent of that burnt blood smell that you've become familiar with.
Do I smell the guard, the invisible lady?
Yeah, you do.
I think
You don't exactly know where she is, but you have a good idea what direction she's in. As you suddenly, over everything else, and you didn't expect it, you smell linseed oil, steel, and like treated leather that kind of smells a little bit floral.
Do I get the sense that there's someone in the room that my eyes aren't
Yeah.
picking up?
100%.
Claudia would do that dog huffing, the really audible sniffing, and then tilt her head in the direction that she smells it and say, "There's someone
There's
there."
a girl. Ow.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
What do you
What
mean
did you
there's somebody
find?
there?
There's a person.
Well, the Baron's
here.
guard.
That would
Oh,
be
is that
my
who
guard,
that
yes.
is? Oh, she smells
Like
like
she
linseed
smells
oil.
like linseed oil.
What? What? What?
I did mention I had a guard. Did you not?
He did.
But
You did. I just didn't think she'd be invisible.
So she is.
Baron, could I ask you a question?
Yes, hopefully better than your friend did.
It probably will be.
Only a little bit of pressure. Was this Joseph Crite and the book out of your sight for any amount of time before you took it back into your vault?
I did not leave him with the book alone for any moment.
Insight check.
Roll insight.
I feel like more people should roll that insight too.
I agree. I rolled really well, guys. I did
I'm
it.
not
Oh, you
good.
did. You
I
did it.
did it.
You believe he's confident in what he's saying.
But
Tess,
also a really
you
good
believe
rogue.
he's confident in what he's saying.
Tess
He does not believe he
told
left
me
him
to
alone
go
with the
fuck
book
myself.
ever.
Yeah.
so the book never left your sight. Artie, you don't know how it left the vault? Claudia, Artie, anything?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. There's no way any magic user short of a god would be able to finesse us.
So then,
So somebody did something without magic then.
Is
It's
that how they
either
got in?
yep.
I didn't
It's either
smell
that.
a person in there.
But I was
or
a little dull.
somehow it wasn't the book. It wasn't the right book that got in there. But if you didn't leave it out of your sight, then that seems impossible.
If there was
And
any
there's
if there was
nothing on the
any
pedestal.
magic, yeah, if there was any magic involved, as soon as it passes that threshold, poof.
The point of the vault
no
is
way.
to defeat deceptions.
But
And it
could
seems. No, go ahead.
could a
Tess.
convincing fabrication have been made that didn't involve magic? That could have been swapped out?
But then why wouldn't
not-
it be still in there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
nothing on the
That's
pedestal.
what I don't
When I
understand.
next
But
entered the vault, there was nothing on the pedestal. There was no fabrication. There was no ruse. It just was gone.
Artie, was there anywhere in the vault that someone could like hide, like under something?
What did the vault look? Was it just?
It was a
room with a
round.
pedestal and a
It
glass
was
case?
it was a round room with glass cases along the walls. They're inset in the walls, so it's basically an empty room with the pedestal in the middle.
Oh no.
I mean, not unless somebody was blind going in there, and the guy over here could see.
Well, this is quite a mystery then, because I definitely believe nobody got into that vault magically. And I definitely believe that you would know if someone handed you a fakery. You're obviously very intelligent and very accomplished.
You flatter me. You're right, but you flatter me.
It's good to accomplish two things at once, I've found. So then, Baron, if you could lend us your vaunted intellect, if it isn't possible that anyone snuck in and stole the book is gone,
Yes.
is it not then slightly more possible that you perhaps did let it out of your sight for a moment. Or that you intended to go back to the vault and got distracted on the way.
I will admit such a thing is possible, but I do not believe it happened.
Hmm.
I've been remarkably careful when it comes to the Book of Nod. It's my
Of course.
responsibility. I don't just leave it out of my sight in the hands of homeless-looking strangers.
I have a question.
Of course.
Yes, sniff lady.
It's Claudia.
I'm sorry. I'm not so good.
Yeah,
with
I
names.
realized we didn't do the thing. So it's not the original book.
Correct.
What?
It is.
Why does it matter that it's missing? If it's a copy, can't you make another one?
It is a copy, but it is one provided by Nyx herself.
Oh.
Oh.
And either way, the symbolism is important. If it's in your charge, you don't want it to go missing.
Correct. And while it is a
Oh.
copy, there are only a few of them. It's not.
I also imagine
Not
it
in
maybe contains information that is not otherwise available to everyone.
Correct.
Oh, this isn't a question. I don't know why I'm raising my hand. She puts her hand back down.
You don't have to raise your hand. We're having
I
a
don't know. It's a
conversation.
weird habit. Yep,
We tell
I
her all the
understand.
time. Every
I think
day.
that's a cultural thing where she's from, maybe. I don't...
Maybe.
It's from
So
here.
I've heard that
Sorry.
there might be vampire hunters on the outside of town.
Yes, there is. They call themselves the Plunge, as delicate as that is.
Like, take the
Oh,
plunge?
I get it.
Like plunge the stick.
So,
Ah.
if I had to guess a group that might want to,
Basically, like naming yourself Murder Stab.
Yeah.
if
very
I
delicate.
had to guess who would have value in this book, in the intricacies of vampires, sorry, kindred. Maybe
it is
people
fine. You're
who
not one. I understand the confusion.
might want to do you harm might want a reference.
So
Right.
you think maybe they took it?
Maybe.
How
Or
did
someone
they?
floated the idea of a thief from the Thieves Guild.
Or a
I-
thief from the Thieves Guild was hired by vampire hunters.
That
Question.
is-
Or
I would argue any thief of Malachor
would know
does-
not to do this.
does not cross Lord Achitari. That is a death
What
sentence.
about someone from Seventh Trellis? They're not allowed to work here.
I don't know much about the Seventh Trellis.
Nobody does.
I don't know if that would. I mean, we don't know enough
Yeah, but
either.
I mean,
Either,
aren't
but
they
if-
aren't they
Seems-
assassins, not thieves?
They're assassins. It seems unlikely.
Okay.
Are
They
they
didn't-
100% only assassins?
It's just a class thing, assassins are classy and thieves are, thieves.
Assassins
On the-
steal lives.
I've known some
On the
very
book.
classy thieves, by the way. Some of them get along with the finest of folk.
Yes,
Was
they're
that
called
Verity or
landlords.
Cow?
That was
That
Cal.
was
Cow.
That's what I thought.
Tess is shifting uncomfortably.
They're called landlords.
I
Fair
like that
narc.
one. Yes.
This Joseph Crichton, he disappeared the same night or day, right? Between when you showed him the book and when you discovered him missing?
He left the next day.
Hmm.
But I was asleep. So it's not like I could keep track of him. He looked through the paperwork. He read through most of it. He signed the contract that he wanted to become a kindred. We didn't get to the chance to talk about when he had the time to commit to dying before he needed to leave.
Does it take long dying?
Seems
can
like the
take a
kind of
week.
thing that you would want to make a fucking
can-
priority if you want eternal life.
Well, it
A
can
week?
it can be as quick as an hour, and it can take as long as a week. Your body reanimates once the blood hits your heart.
Oh,
Right, but you get like a... It just seems weird that you would suddenly run out of time to reanimate yourself and have to leave
Maybe
town.
he didn't actually want to become a kindred.
But he
It
did
That's
was
what
sign
I-
the
that's what
just
I-
to
contract.
get in.
A contract is worth the paper it's written on if you don't intend to fulfill your end of the bargain.
You're right, but it is not a mundane contract.
I see. That is
So if he signed it
interesting.
and he didn't follow through, what's the implication there for a non-mundane contract?
Well, typically, grievous injury. if you sign the contract with the kindred, you have promised a kindred your last heart's beat. That is not something easy to come by for us times mandatory.
Any kindred? Or just a specific one?
The one
No, it
who
would
has
be
agreed to
in
sign
the contract. Yeah.
So you.
In this case, yes, me. It is not always me, but it was me in this case.
But he
So
left
what happens
under-
if he never comes back?
Well, if he stays
In a
away
contract
too
for
long-
immortal reckoning, I would think eventually the reckoning would come due.
Yes, it does. He has an amount of time before the contract begins to weigh upon him, which, unless he managed to beat it somehow, which I suppose is possible.
Oh, you said he looked homeless. Was there anything else about him remarkable? Anything
What do
he
you
might
smell
have?
like?
I'm not
Sure.
sure what he smelled a bit of grease, pine a little. Maybe he'd been out in the forest.
Do you have something of his?
Was he human?
Yes, he was human. I have his signature.
Can I sniff it?
I suppose it will likely
have one
simply
thing I
smell
do.
of ink.
I'll give you anything.
Did he? I suppose the better question is, did he appear human?
I'm pretty confident he was human.
What
What's
would happen if he had already signed a contract with something else?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, if a devil suddenly arrives on my doorstep to talk about this contract, perhaps then I will know. But it didn't really come up.
what
It
is
hasn't come
the
up.
probability that he's
Magical
already
conflict of
a
love.
kindred?
He is absolutely not kindred. As part
He
of the
couldn't be?
signing, as part of our assessing of an individual to see if they are worthwhile as a vampire, kindred. We sip them. It is part of the agreement.
And you can
What
tell.
does his blood
from
taste
that?
like?
Anxiety, curiosity,
But he didn't taste like deception. Like he was like, I hope he doesn't figure out. I'm up to no
Anxiety
good.
is
It's true.
it was mostly
mark.
anxiety.
Anxiety seems like it could cut in
could
any
be many
direction,
things.
particularly since you're looking at a contract for dying.
That is not an uncommon emotion we taste in the sip.
But if he knew he was contractually bound and the contract is magical in nature, it does seem like if he's truly gone, he might not be gone under his own power.
That's true. It could be being manipulated. Or he's found a way to deceive the contract or best it, which is possible.
Could we maybe have a copy of it to just see?
Or just read.
I
Just
can
to see
show
it?
you- I can show you the contract. It's not.
I want to smell it.
I understand. I don't know
It's
what
gonna
that will
smell
do
like
for you,
it,
but
but-
you can smell it.
You're so accommodating.
I do my
On the
best.
We
Fuck.
are trying to help.
I have
On
all
the
the
book.
time in
Yep.
the world.
Is there any kind of divination magic just normally protecting anybody from being able to find it? Like, is there any protection against divination normally?
Not that I'm aware of. It is usually in
Okay.
a vault where magic does not work. So
Mhm.
protections like that are unnecessary.
Okay. There's some magic that might try to help us find it. I just want to make sure it's not useless.
If we needed, we would have Mrs. Achitaris come and apply a ward, if that was the sort of thing that needed to happen. That hasn't happened, so
Potentially, we could scry on this human
you could, if you had the capability.
if we asked someone who knows the scry spell. Yes.
Find a fake name. Would that have any problems with the contract?
We have a measure. We use a truth writer's quill, but it can be beaten.
Like Zone of Truth, but in a quill.
Yes. If
Zone of Quill.
it tries to force you to write truth, you can best it if you are of strong will. Nothing's perfect. Anyway, follow me.
In-
And he
in
makes
that
his
case-
way.
In that case, would the contract be invalid for him? If he signed the wrong name?
It would be weakened. It still is the name
Difficult to-
linking him to the contract. Whether it's a fake name or not, it is still his writing. You understand?
Right. Mm-hmm.
It would be... He would have a longer period of time before the contract's pressures weighed upon him. He brings you all back upstairs out of this library. As you ascend, he takes another sharp turn away from where the original, like, the sitting room was that he first spoke to you. And instead, he actually steps into a proper study, where you see there is a broad desk, a number of chairs inside of it, and a lot, and I mean a lot, of chewed-up dog toys on the ground.
Aw.
Claudia resists the innate urge to also chew on one.
He, like, shuffles through them, kicking some to the side, and Buster, like, jumps forward and grabs the first one he kicked. And you just continually hear,
Oh my
as
god.
he makes his way over to the desk. As he pulls open a drawer, he says, "It's not so hard as the first contract on the inbox, really." And he sets it down on the desk.
How does this study look? Is it organized? Is it
Not
neat?
really.
Mhm.
There's lots of papers all over the desk. There's a number of books that are still open. There is a globe of amaranth that is, like, almost tipping off of the desk on the corner. It looks like a room that's well used. The sort of disorganization that the person who's in there knows where everything is. But to alien eyes, it's a mess.
Hmm.
As he sits down, he pulls open another drawer, and he says, "Have a look," and he lights a cigar.
Oh,
All vampires are smokers. Got it.
Claudia,
Got an
get
extra.
the paper.
We don't have to worry about dying from it, as he takes a puff.
You got an extra?
Ask,
my God.
For you.
Yeah.
Why not? He opens up the drawer again and passes you one.
I want to read this contract.
Okay.
I'm
I
sniffing
haven't
it
written
at
the
the same
contract.
time. It's
Lawyer!
I'm just gonna like lean over Claudia's head while she's sniffing it and read the words. Basically, what I'm looking for in the contract is if the terms of the contract define. I'm sorry. If the
I love
terms
this.
of shut up. If the terms of the contract define the time period before Breach starts being a thing, and
Before
also
what?
the guys.
I think
Okay.
she said breach.
Breach.
Oh, breach.
Oh,
Okay.
Right. So when does the contract start eating him for not fulfilling his terms, or if it doesn't say specifically, because that's something that the contract just assumes that people will know.
The contract states a month for every year the individual is alive.
Okay. Got it. And then the only other thing that I think Velen would think of as far as it goes, sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to separate lawyer brain from bard brain.
Okay.
Someone else has a thing they should
Because
go.
Velen hasn't had years of law school.
No, she has not. And
I
if
can't
she
believe it.
ever looked at a contract, it was to try to see if there was a way she could wiggle out of the consequences of signing it.
But that's
So-
kind of also theoretically what this guy maybe was doing. So that
Yeah.
seems on point, actually.
Basically, I'm looking for enforcement provisions, like anything that looks like it could be a loophole.
Okay, roll me an investigation.
Okay.
Can I sniff it?
Guidance.
You can
Guidance.
sniff it, yes, roll perception.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have someone smarter than Velen doing this investigation, but too late. I already said that to you. Aww.
Oh.
Buddy.
With an 11... the
Wait. She gave me guidance.
Okay.
So it's actually
16.
15.
With a 15. Okay, Claudia, you smell the contract. It smells of paper and ink.
Anything else? Nothing else?
Nothing else. No.
Not a goddamn thing.
Nope.
He didn't
it's-
touch the contract. He
It,
just.
it smells a lot like the bookbinding office you were in earlier.
She looks at the Baron while Velen is still reading over it. She says,
Did he use your pen or quill?
He did? Yes.
Can I sniff that?
Okay. He reaches into the drawer and pulls out a long black feather quill and hands it
Oh,
to
it's
you.
the truth quill.
It's the truth quill, yes.
The truth
it seems to
quill.
gleam with little crackles of blue energy on the very tips. And you smell it?
Yep.
Okay, as soon as you grasp it, you feel electricity in your fingertips. But it seems inert. Doesn't seem like it's trying to make
Can
you
I
do
try to write something with it?
on what?
Sure. What do you try to write?
She's gonna try to write Bladia. Because
Like,
she's not creative enough
You're trying
to
to
think of an
lie
actual
about
name.
your name on something?
Yeah, she wants to
Roll
see what will
me
happen.
a charisma saving throw.
That's a
Bladia.
11.
You write.
Bladia, because
You
he's not
feel
clever
pain in your fingertips as you watch your hand write Claudia.
Nice.
Oh shit, it works.
Yes.
Smell it.
Usually,
That's
yes.
why you asked.
Oh,
You asked
smell
to
it.
smell.
It's well, it smells like a quill. It smells like ink. It smells a little bit of ozone. Roll me a perception.
Advantage.
Yeah,
Did
you're
I get
smelling.
my 15? I'm
I
sorry.
just
With a
gotta check.
15, you don't see any obvious loopholes. You don't see any way to dodge the impending, like, if you sign this contract and agree to become a kindred, to promise your last heart's beat to a kindred to sire you,
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
it's going to happen whether you like it or not.
But it doesn't necessarily happen immediately, so that's
No, it
something.
wears away at them.
If
For-
by the
So there's
end of
1
the
month
time,
per year.
if by
yeah.
the end of 1 month per year, if that time limit expends and you are not present before your intended sire, you are teleported there.
Oh shit.
So unless this guy figured out a way to beat the contract, we could theoretically just wait until he mysteriously appeared.
Well,
Except we
a
have to
month
do.
for every year he's
2
been
years.
alive?
He's been alive,
Yeah.
yes. So it would be,
That's a
years.
shitload of
Long
time.
be
Like
about 2
30
years.
months if you.
It's
what,
not.
2?
It's not. I'm not saying it's a good idea for us to sit on our ass and not do anything. I was just saying.
2 years.
It
this
will
guy's
solve itself.
ultimately, the guy is gonna show up unless he managed to find a way to defeat the contract.
Right, just to cover all the bases, sir.
Hold on.
Is it known?
I rolled.
Claudia's
a 19.
smelling a quill.
I'm.
I
smelling
forgot.
things.
Sorry.
It's
It's okay.
okay. It's a dumb thing.
With a 19, Claudia, you smell. How do I describe this? It's a tingling smell. It almost smells a little bit tangy. It's unidentifiable except for the fact that you've smelled it every time Tess has dealt radiant damage.
It's a divine smell.
Yeah.
Tangy.
Tangy.
Yeah.
What
A
about
bit
Cal?
like
Do I get the
chamomile.
same vibe?
Every time he's dealt radiant damage, you smell this smell.
Unfortunately, they're both
So it-
Jimeno people, so I don't know if that's a specific Jimeno smell or if a divine smell. Umbrella.
Do
Triumph.
I do.
Amazing.
I do
Triumph,
radiant damage.
Triumph did radiant damage too.
You smell it.
I do
Smell
radiant
it.
damage.
Okay.
Thank you. It
Valen's
smells like
And
radiant.
bonus, it smells a little bit like
Velen's
chamomile.
wings. So I think after she picks up that tang, she sniffs Tess over, and then while Velen's still reading the contract, Claudia sniffs her back because that's where her wings are usually.
Okay. Go ahead and say what you're going to say, Tess.
Oh, I just was curious. This is the only thing that I can think of at this moment, even though I don't know how it would work. Is it well known or known a little what the book looks like?
It's not well known. No. You don't know what it looks like.
No, not me. I'm asking him. I'm asking
Oh, you're asking
Baron.
He says, It is not public knowledge. No.
Makes sense. It
Get
just
this straight.
it seems like such a coincidence in some ways that it would need to be a mundane object, and there's a bookbinding place literally across the street. So
I've run the bookbinding operation.
I know, but if someone wanted to make a mundane copy and switch it out, I don't know how it would have disappeared, but that's if the bolt is impenetrable, that's all I can think of.
There. So if
Was
this,
there any?
Hmm. I see what you're hinting at. I trust Binder Master Faulkner with my life. I've known him hundreds of years. He is a genius. He knows what he's doing, and he would dare not cross me.
I wouldn't
think-
imagine I wouldn't imagine
I-
it was them. It's just that that might be a thing that someone might get in their head. That's all.
What does Master Bookbinder Faulkner think happened? Has he told you?
He's hinted at a few things. He thinks, from what I understand, I think he thinks Mr. Kright ran away with it, but I don't see how he could have.
The thing is that I also don't, from where I'm standing right now, I also don't see how he could have, but I don't see an alternate explanation that makes sense either.
Mr. Kright told me he wished to spend some time to think about it after signing the contract. He wanted to get his affairs in order, tell all his loved ones he was going to be alive long after they were dead. So his leaving was not a big surprise to me.
Did he say where he was going? Do you know where he came from?
East? I think, some small town in Kyla's Crossing.
That's far away.
Simple
Did
that
you... Sorry, go ahead.
it wasn't him? Is it possible that this is just a misdirect of some kind, and that in fact someone else lifted the book, and this person just ran off?
It's possible, but that is why this is the problem. You see, I don't know how. I don't know where the hell the book is. I don't know who managed to get it out of my vault without me knowing, and I don't know who...
That's why I thought a switcheroo might be possible, but without an object in the vault, it seems not likely.
I remember vividly setting that book down on that pedestal and closing the wall.
I believe that.
Don't suppose you
Think
sleepwalk?
Not lately. That's not really a thing we suffer from.
Was there anything on the pedestal at all? A mote of dust, a napkin? I don't know why there would be a napkin.
Artie, with your insane investigation, that pedestal had nothing on it.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. When you are sleeping, who stands out front the vault? Is there any kind of security? Is there anybody? Nobody? So when you're sleeping, nobody is guarding it because it has, it's a beautifully made.
Because it's attached to his blood. How could anyone get in?
There are the occasional passages by my guard Dorn. She makes her way around there every once in a while, but there's never been a cause for a real stationed guard.
So it's truly only your blood that would open it.
Truly.
And there's no way that anyone could have gotten a hold of any of that.
Well,
I'm out of ideas. I think we should ask Buster if he noticed anything. I'm not even kidding. This is the stupidest thing that I've got, but I have no other ideas.
Buster, hearing his name, just is like looking up at you with a toy in his mouth.
Look at that face. That face knows nothing. I want to ask him.
You could try. If you have the means.
Pretty stupid.
He's very smart dog. He's very trainable. He's
still a dog.
He's brilliant, and how dare you assume?
Dogs are very smart, Valen.
I'm sorry, Claudia. You're right.
I mean, they're definitely
I should have thought about who I was talking to.
Claudia just gives you a look, Artie.
Velen will cast Speak with Animals on herself, and she's going to sit down on the floor in front of this dog.
Okay.
And she's going to say, "Hi, Buster."
And Buster looks at me and says, and around the toy. He can't really talk.
He can't really talk because he's got a toy in his mouth.
Yeah.
You know, but really, I was really hoping to ask you a couple of questions, but I know you've got a really important toy in your mouth right now. So what if I offer you some food in exchange for answering a couple of questions?
Roll persuasion.
Okay.
An advantage. Still been an
Nope.
hour.
Nope, because I just cast Speak with Animals. My other
Shit.
concentration spell is now gone.
It's true.
But I'm casting I'm casting persuasion? No, I'm rolling persuasion, offering a dog food. How hard can this be?
Buster seems to
23.
think about it for a long moment. Kind of lowers his head, sets the toy down, and he says,
All right, you have my attention.
Oh my
Great.
god.
Um,
Of course.
listen, so there's this book that has gone missing.
Okay.
Do you know what a book is?
Yeah?
Okay, just checking. Because I've talked to some animals before who were not as smart as you, and I just have to make sure that we're on the same page with concepts.
They sound like stupid animals.
I'm sorry, you're right. It's absolutely true. So, went missing about a week ago. It was kept in that vault.
Buster, tilts his head.
Okay?
I know you know what the vault is, because you just went in there with them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. So...
Boring.
Yeah,
I
Super
can't pee
boring.
in there.
that sucks. You have my sympathy. I hate not
can't
being able
even-
to pee.
I can't claim the room, so it doesn't matter to me. Why?
Okay, so... But this book is super important to him.
Okay?
And she
You keep...
gestures.
Oh.
I need to figure out where it is, and I think someone took it. But I don't know how.
You see the, gears are winding in Buster's dog brain. I need to roll a die here. Buster
Come on,
just
Buster.
natural 20'd.
I love it. So Bella is saying, so I know that this is your
Save us, dog.
territory.
Buster looks
And
at
so
you,
you're
and he
gonna know
tilts
if
his
something
head.
weird happened in your territory, right?
Yeah. What? The book mattered to Master, but he gave it to the ugly guy.
Yes.
Rude man.
Oh, he didn't like dogs?
He shooed
So
me.
mean. That's the worst thing I ever heard. Okay, tell me what happened with the guy who shooed you?
He didn't say hello. He smelled like dirt
Smelled like dirt.
and grease.
Dirt and grease. I'm gonna
Sweat.
tell my dog friend that. Dirt, grease, and sweat. Got it.
He's a mechanic.
Wouldn't say aye. So I kept trying to greet him. He kept trying to push me away until Master told me to just wait. And they talked for a long time. All evening. And then Master handed him that book. And then he put the book away. And Master nodded. And then he kept talking.
Uh-huh.
So he never got the book back from the guy?
No,
Did he go back in the vault that night?
I don't think so.
Artie was right.
Artie's always right.
Guess number one. Good job, Artie.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Barry's not gonna be happy about this.
This is you have been so helpful. We're gonna have to track down the mean guy who shooed you and get
Yes.
that book back from him. Because he pulled a dirty trick on Master, and that's the worst.
Oh, that's the worst.
But you've done great duty as a guard dog, and I'm gonna give you some food.
Valen,
And
tell him I
Bella-
love him.
Okay, Claudia loves you, and she gestures, and then she starts digging around in her
I
pack
love her
full of
too. She's very nice.
crap.
She smells nice.
And Velen will give. I mean, she just has dried meat in her.
He's very
in her
excited
ration,
about it.
And she'll give it to him.
Oh, break the news, Velen.
And then Velen
Or-
kind of rolls her head on her neck, and she looks up and she says, "It sounds like it was a modified memory spell." Buster
need
saw
you
the
to-
whole thing.
I need you to roll me a persuasion check just for how this comes across.
Because I'm sitting on the floor talking to a dog and telling him he's got his head diddled by a
Yeah.
spirit.
Especially because it's been 5 minutes and you've been going.
Yeah, I've just been basically sitting there going.
So you still have Speak with Animals up, so as you're talking to Verity, you hear Buster, "Oh, he's good. He's salty, toys. Meat."
I love him. I love dogs. Okay, where did my rolls go? 1 second.
23? Oh no, that's 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
no, that's bad.
Someone give that girl.
You want inspiration?
You want to spend your inspiration on that?
Girl, I
Yeah.
do the recap every goddamn week. I have
I got
so
like
much.
12 of them.
Flash of Genius plus 5. 17.
Yeah, add 5 to this.
Nice.
I flash a genius and be like, with no disrespect from what she's saying, you know. And I kinda
Buster saw the
just-
whole thing. He says that the book never went back into your hand. But he also told me what the guy smelled like. Claudia, he smelled like dirt, grease, dirt, grease, and I
Sweat.
forgot already. Sorry,
Sweat.
sweat. Dirt, grease, and sweat.
She nods. Just so like any person out in the day.
Anybody who works with their hands.
Like someone who
But
works
somebody
with
who works with their
machinery.
hands who can power that kind of mojo. That's not a low level spell, especially. That's not an easy spell to be thrown around, particularly
No,
against
it's not.
someone with. I mean, excuse me for phrasing it this way, but with your kind of chops, I mean, that's a dangerous thing to cast.
And a
Yes,
dangerous
it is.
person to cast it on.
I fear I may have made the fool of myself.
And not for nothing.
No.
It's a dangerous deal to make too. I don't think this person was working alone in that case.
Can't be.
It does seem like maybe we should visit those hunters.
Yeah. I think
I
that's
think
a good
so.
idea. But this
I
is
think.
not your fault.
Oh, no.
You were
Fuck.
targeted. That does not make this your fault.
Look, I like you.
He's
You're
like
a nice
smoking
guy.
the cigar as he's thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm smoking too. Like, I like you. You're a nice guy. There's a reason that we were put on this. The Achitari doesn't need to know this was.
Because
That you
Velen
were
can talk to
duped.
dogs.
Yeah.
Well, I
Achitari doesn't
didn't-
need to know you were duped because as long as we get this book back, any assistance you give us, we don't have to tell them that it was something that was potentially you getting messed with.
And
We
who's
don't
gonna
have to.
think to interrogate a dog? Only weirdos.
I did not consider
I'm trying
the
to
possibility myself. I wouldn't have thought of it. No.
What
He's
I'm
a
trying
very
to say
good
is
boy, by the way.
we can sweep this under the rug for you. As long as any info and anything you can help us out with helps us get the book back into Achitari's hands. He doesn't need to know all the details. I don't even think he wants to.
If you all can bring the book back and save my pride, I'll have a reward in it for you. Especially if Achitari does not need to learn about it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think he just wants the situation resolved. I don't know that it matters how we get it done.
Right, but
As long as we don't, create more problems than we solve.
that would be preferred. But I cannot emphasize, you hear about someone making mistakes frequently, another one is just another thing on top of the list, so keep this discreet for the sake
We
of
will.
my dignity, as scarred as it might be.
I will, and make sure this boy gets some steak tonight. I think he deserves it.
Oh, don't worry, he will be well pampered.
Okay.
Thank you. I will wait to hear from you.
We'll be back.
Oh, before we leave, we have something that could potentially. We have friends with magic that could potentially try to track him down. Is there any way you or somebody else here can draw a very detailed picture of this man?
Or
Joseph.
create an image.
Or create an image, yeah. That too.
I can create
And
an
then
image.
Yeah.
I look
Perfect.
around. Do I see wait, has it been an hour? It's probably been an hour.
Away.
It's been close to an hour at least.
Close to, but within?
Yeah, it's been more than an hour.
Damn it. Alright.
He says, "Do you need? I can create it now if you'd like."
Well, I don't know if I could
Yeah.
recreate it.
Yeah, I got.
Velen
no,
is
I
gonna
got you.
pull out. Velen is gonna pull out her artist supplies and prepare to sketch from his image.
I got magic, and take out a piece of paper and I could just make an image on it.
Take a picture of it, screenshot.
I could literally take a screenshot of anything in the world.
Velen does not put away her pencil.
Okay.
Yeah, we should compare them. Please, sketch artist.
Yes, that's hilarious. You can make a magical copy of his created image, and I'm just gonna scribble with my pencil. And then we'll
Okay.
see which.
With a gesture of his hand, a minor illusion is cast, and this is what he creates. This individual.
Oh, he is a homeless guy.
I instantly put that image on a piece of paper.
You have to
Velen
press
is just
power and volume at the same time.
Velen is fucking
Yeah.
scribbling and drawing, and like
This is...
it's totally shitty. It's hilarious.
Oh,
Is
no,
that
that's
shitty?
good.
You rolled an 18.
Oh, I
you
thought it was
get
a-
his likeness.
Sorry, I thought. What the fuck? Hang on, that can't be right.
Yeah.
Nope, it is. I'm a bard. Carry on.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a 7. How could that be not shitty? It's like, oh yeah, I have a plus 11.
You've been training this, oddly
Yeah,
enough.
I'm a dumbass. Go
over,
on, but
the
only
minor
at
illusion keeps up until you have your sketch drawn, and it's like the images is like from different perspectives. You get the likeness of this individual from the two of you, and then as he relaxes, the
Profile.
illusion is gone.
Right.
Was it sufficient?
Very
Perfect.
helpful.
We're gonna find him.
That is a relief.
Baron, thank for all your cooperation, and we will see you soon. I'm sure we'll be back to sniff the rest of your possessions.
I cannot wait. This first hour of your presence has been interesting enough. Tell Gaston that you are welcome anytime.
Is that the half-orc at the door?
Yes.
No one guards like Gaston. Sorry.
And Pen takes a d4 of psychic damage.
Yep.
As you make your way out of the Baron's estate, out onto the main street. And I'm going to pull you over to the map. The investigation off to, well, you seem to have figured out what happened. Now you just have to figure out where it's gone to. And as you emerge from the estate, Triumph is near you, and he says, "A dog."
Well, to be honest, I kind of figured it out before that, but yeah, that's solidified it.
He did. It was pretty great.
Look, it's more important to get confirmation from a witness than just to be right. But yeah, the dog.
No, I don't know. I think being right is very important.
Being right is very important, but I think that without corroboration from Buster, he would have never believed it.
You know
That's
what
true.
the good thing is? He doesn't have to believe it. But we are getting paid from that. So, it's a beautiful thing.
I'm very glad that you figured it out first, Artie. You're very
Here's-
clever, and I'm
so-
proud of you.
My
Black
question.
Battery's so much armor.
He said, so Achitaris told us to handle this discreetly and without blood.
I don't
But
think that
that
applies to the
only
hunters.
applies to the Baron, right? Not to the hunters.
It applies to the Baron and people within the Baron's district. Some asshole thieves living outside the city, he could give it shit, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like we would be maybe solving two problems at once.
What do you
Right.
think, Triumph?
If we go murder people?
The thieves.
I think it would depend on where. Outside of the city, you're
Yeah.
probably fine. You see, kind of like scratches his ear, and then Reverie is right next to him.
Why did you do that?
I'm fast.
Velen holds up the sketch that she made. This is the asshole who took the book. He was going by the name of Krite. I don't know if it's his real name. Artie has like an actual copy of the Minor Illusion, and Velen's like, "Here's my art sketch."
They're very similar. Did you stop by the bookbinders to print that? And he's looking at you, Artie.
No, I'm magic.
I'm magic too. That's new to me.
Oh, I forgot. I totally forgot to mention this. I think the guy is magic. Sorry, obvious. I think he's holy.
What do you mean?
He's working for some sort of divine. He's,
You mean like a cleric or a paladin?
in such a way that he has divinity at his fingertips.
Well, that doesn't really narrow it down. It could be a sorcerer.
With modify memory?
Yeah. That's
weird.
No,
I think that's
not
weird.
That weird.
It's weird.
Isn't that what clerics have? Isn't that like...
Certain.
You have to be very... You would have to be very powerful, though.
Yes, you would.
I guess, is it worth considering that maybe
Wait.
this guy's mission is divine?
Let me get this straight, because unfortunately through the scry I didn't get every detail. You are confident Krite modified the memory of Verity?
Yes.
It's pretty much the only way.
Verity has a very clear memory of returning with the book to the vault. Buster says that he never got the book back. And the only way that you would have a memory of that clarity is if it was implanted.
That sounds like a modified memory. Okay. Shit.
Claudia, why do you think it's divine?
They smelled it.
Where?
On the pen.
But the truth pen is a divine could have been a divine spell. That doesn't necessarily mean that...
the smell of magic on it and the smell of divine. They're different.
But it's a divine spell.
But it's a divine spell.
Isn't it inherently?
I am not aware of a way to cast that that's not, but I don't know.
If the caster is divine, maybe that's what you picked up on? I don't know if that doesn't necessarily
But he could still be a divine caster.
He could be a divine caster.
With a 17, Artie. Even though it's a natural fucking one, you are
crit
aware.
fails on ability checks.
It's true. Magical items, it's typically magical items, unless they're made by a god, do not have divine magic.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no,
That
Claudia's
makes sense
right.
because
That
they have to
wouldn't...
be enchanted.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the smell. That's something else she's smelling. Real quick, before we go any further, Triumph, can I ask you a favor?
Katja lands next to you.
What's
Claudia
up there?
squeaks.
What was I about to say? Jesus.
I don't know. Did it matter?
Not anymore. No.
Yes.
Right. Oh, Triumph. If we can get the book back successfully, can you not tell Achitari, unless he asks? Like, I don't want you to lie to him that it was incompetence on his behalf. On the work's part.
I think it's incompetence to
I
have
really
your
don't think
memory
it's
modified.
I mean, the guy's making mistakes left and right according to all the information we were provided. It's just another mark. Pretty much what I'm saying is he offered us a bonus if we can kind of keep it discreet, but you already know that, so I'm kind of just asking for a favor. If not, don't worry about it. I'm not asking you to lie to your boss.
I don't think that this is incompetence. I know that he was sensitive to the blow to his pride because he's a kindred and a powerful one. To be diddled in this way is very embarrassing, but I don't think this is incompetence at all.
Triumph looks slightly bemused as you two are talking about this.
I'm just like arguing, no, I think
he lost the book that was his possession. Guard personally got fucking finessed.
Artie, I
He
feel like
was
we're too close to his
victimized
house for
and-
you to be talking like this.
Yeah, that's
He
a
was
good point.
victimized and targeted by somebody with remarkable power. You're literally blaming the victim of the crime here. Like,
Triumph, what
not-
would you call it?
say what?
I said Triumph, what would you
Oh,
call
you're
it?
asking Triumph. Okay.
I would call it not necessary to report.
Love to hear it. What's going on, Katja? How's your day going? You want to go for a drink?
Right now we have a book to get.
Maybe
We got
after
shit
work,
to do.
little guy.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hold you to it.
Well, it makes sense. If he's a vampire hunter, he might have divine magic.
Is there
Alright.
like a god that's particularly against vampires?
don't most divine...
Roll religion.
Well, there's a divine who is a vampire. The vampire.
Sure, but clerics and undead are a thing. You see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Well, not all clerics
Who are you asking to
necessarily.
roll religion?
Hashtag not all clerics.
You can't turn undead? Tess?
Anybody proficient in religion can roll religion.
Tess, can you not turn the undead?
She's ignoring you.
She's just ignoring. All right, well, that's
She's
fair.
stonewalling you. And
No,
she's
I
muted.
can't roll and do a thing at the same time because of push to talk. Hang on.
I prefer Tess being like,
No, it's fine. Ori feels like real
No,
hard done by right now
I-
anyway.
I
Like,
can-
Artie is
I
better at
can.
everything. She couldn't see
can
the
turn the
scry,
undead.
see invisibility. She's just like, damn.
I can turn the undead, Ori. It's just that, like,
Well, that's
It-
kind of my point.
I can. I'm just saying that, like, that doesn't necessarily mean that I have an inherent problem with every undead I come across.
Of course not. Not all
hashtag that
not
all
all
dead.
rectangles are squares, but all squares are rectangles.
Ah, I like that.
But what I'm
like that.
what I'm interested in though is this spell. I don't Echo. So above the table,
Sure.
I know that modify memory can be a spell for specifically my domain. I am not high enough level to cast it.
Sure.
I know that that's a spell for my domain.
It is a trickster cleric
Does-
spell, yes.
Does she know that? Does Tess know that?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's ruminating on this. Like, if this really is a divine person that can cast this spell, then the only kind of cleric that it could be is the same kind of cleric that I am, which is not necessarily a Gemino cleric, but that is interesting.
I mean, a bard could cast it too.
Yep.
It doesn't
But
have to
I'm
be-
just saying, if we're building on Claudia's idea that this is definitely a divine person.
Well, let me
that's
tell you
interesting.
this.
Could also be a divine sorcerer.
With a 17 religion, you know that there are a lot of gods that abhor the existence of kindred. They are an undead loophole. And a lot of gods don't like that very much. Generally speaking, undead are thought to be cleansed from the world or reared by those who can create them. Gods that particularly don't like kindred, in specific, the one that comes to mind, is Melisandre, the goddess of birth and new beginnings.
My God.
A god of life.
Oh,
She particularly doesn't like kindred. Because they
Do I know-
cheat the system.
Do I know how Gemino feels about them? I feel like,
Neutral?
yeah, seems like neutral. It's changed.
She's neutral about
whatever.
most things.
It's changed.
So, that's what
I
you
think
know.
this is part of why Tess is like, I don't know, not all clerics. I don't know.
not all
I think we're getting a little hung up on the details. We have the information we need.
I think
that can at
Dawes is in
least
favor
start
of their cheekbones, really.
I mean, we just knowing
Say what you
If
like.
this
Kindred have
person's-
got real style.
Dawes
Holy or
actually
not.
likes kindred.
Style.
Ambition.
we might know what we're dealing with when we get there. Just knowing what they might be capable of.
I can see if I can locate this fellow.
Yes, do that.
I only
Triumph.
have one scry left.
Would you feel comfortable? Would you and Reverie feel comfortable coming with us, or would you prefer not to?
Triumph kind of looks over at Reverie, and Reverie says, "Oh, I just kind of assumed we were tagging along.
I hope they come with us.
I'm remarkably curious."
Oh, I just, if they're hunters,
It seems like a great idea to bring Kindred along on our vampire hunter hunt.
that's what I mean. I just wanted to make sure that was okay.
If you think
She's so
for
cool.
our safety we should stay behind, we will.
I think that you can handle these mooks.
I think
know
for
nothing
our
about
safety,
them.
you should come.
Uh huh.
I'll tell you what, if they come at me with their big bad stakes, I'll hide behind Katja, just like you.
Me too.
I think that's who she
that
was
was
talking
the
to.
joke. Artie, I'm
Yeah.
speaking. Anyway, yes,
Early.
Triumph, do the thing, do the magic, and Triumph just, okay. He closes his eyes, and he holds out a hand, and he says, "Who's looking with me?"
Ooh.
So someone with good perception, I think, perhaps.
Shove.
That's why I didn't raise my hand.
Tess.
I can. Sure.
Great.
Tess,
You get to hold Triumph's hand.
Yeah, she's pretty excited about that.
as he casts Scry, what you see is what no one else can see. As I move the map here. One moment here. As the Scry... God damn it, Triumph. You fucking spirit guardian son of a bitch.
I love it.
Hello.
He is Flair.
The laser light show at all times.
The Scry zooms in, and you are looking through the eyes of Triumph. And suddenly, as everything swarms past you like a crow, flying quickly through the air, this is what you see. Whoops.
Oh, I can't
Why
see
did you
anything.
move? Nope, you
We don't
cannot.
get to see it.
Boo.
You're in the middle of a camp. It is cold. It is wintry. Snow is falling everywhere. I need you to roll me perception.
You got this.
Sure do.
Got this
22.
so good.
With a 22, you can see a number of other individuals around this camp. You don't recognize any of them. None of these people look like anybody you've ever seen. But they all look to be wearing gear that looks as though it's good at hiding in the dark. Many of them are wearing crossbows or firearms, but their firearms are uniquely modified. You see that there are long, sharpened wooden poles protruding from the ends of the barrels. You see the individual that you saw in the minor illusion is right in front of you, and he's having a conversation with someone who's in a lot of gear. A lot of it. Weapons bristle across his back. He carries an enormous crossbow. Larger than anything you've ever seen. It looks like a modified ballista. It doesn't look like the sort of thing a person should be able to carry, but he is. You can't hear the exact words that they're saying. It's as if it's muffled. And you hear Triumph say, "Sorry, I wanted to see, not hear."
It's all right. We can count how many there are, and that's useful.
I know him. He's
You
a
know
problem.
him?
He's a problem.
Is he saying this out loud?
Yeah, all of you hear him say this.
Sounds like a problem that we're gonna solve.
Not the one
I'm
we're
gonna-
watching, the one he's talking to. He's a vampire hunter called Killian North. He's dangerous.
He's
I'm
a
gonna
vampire
touch-
hunter called Killian
Yes.
North. Okay.
That's a pretty Kayan name, isn't it?
It is.
I know everything.
Apparently.
I know Echoes real good.
To your perspective, the one he's talking about, Tess, looks like a half-elf.
Okay.
Oh, KO.
You see, in the hands of this individual in dark that Triumph is talking about, a red and black tome is underneath his coat, in a holster on his belt.
Got eyes on the book.
Fuck, yes.
It's definitely
Where's it?
there.
Goddamn camp, where is it?
Do we know? I don't know if that's clear from this guy.
I have an idea.
I count 13 of them.
Look closer. There's more. We'll talk about it after. And as they begin to move, you move with them because the scry follows. And you see they're heading toward a main camp. As
Okay,
they're
yeah, they're
approaching, Triumph says, we might have a problem.
They see us?
They are about to. We need to end now.
Okay.
I'm going to make a roll contest here between this individual and Triumph.
Come on, Triumph.
You beat me, buddy. You could beat him too.
I'm going to recommend somebody spend an inspiration on Triumph here.
I will do that. I was just about to ask if that was allowed. I will do that.
Okay. He rolls again. Okay.
I know inspiration is above the table, but can I say that like Tess like channels some of her own magic into it somehow to help him?
Yeah. You can use whatever
Squeezes
flavor you
his
want.
hand.
As you suddenly focus again, I will pull you back over.
What? We did it, guys. We solved his puzzle.
As you come out of the scry, it's a interesting feeling as your senses are suddenly thrust back into your own. Triumph looks at you and he says, "Well, you all right?"
I'm good. Thanks. That was interesting.
He's
But
like
you got
rubbing
eyes
his
on the
head.
book,
Yeah. Yep,
and
it's definitely there.
and there's more than 13 of them.
There's more than 13 of them.
Triumph
I-
looks at Reverie and he says, "It's killing him." Reverie... Fuck.
Who?
This is a person you've been up against before, I imagine.
Yes, they are generally responsible for the deaths of kindred on their way to Malachor, and it appears as though he's grown hungrier. So, shit. This is actually a real threat. I understand that you wanted to keep this out of Achitaris' ears, but this might be a real problem.
Well,
Yeah, it was just
I
a
don't
bonus,
think
so
we need to explain exactly how the book came to be in his possession, right?
Just that it is, and we need
Just that
backup.
it is.
But it is, and we need backup. Yeah,
That
absolutely.
That seems perfectly reasonable to me. You have the mind of a diplomat, and I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Come by it honestly.
I know an old
Blood.
teacher who would have appreciated you. All right. So, did you see how many there were? You said over 13. That's not really a good number.
More than 13. Emily was trying to count and couldn't see everything on the screen, and I think I got at least 17, but I was trying to count really fast.
Triumph says, I estimated 20, but there might be more. We couldn't get a good look in the tents. Okay. We could try the diplomatic approach. None of you are kindred, so perhaps you could talk it out of them.
I could certainly try.
They went so far in and to modify the memory of a baron to get the book. I don't think they'll just give it back.
my friend
Well-
Ori here has some fun fireballs that she He's
They
itching
must
for
know
it.
what they have in terms of hostage negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
So proposing a trade of some kind isn't out of the question. And of course, once we were in the camp, we don't have to stay well behaved.
Do we have any idea what he wants? If he wants anything?
No, we have no idea.
Kill vampires?
He wants
To
kindred
kill
dead.
vampires. Yeah.
That's what he wants.
So is he maybe trying to lure
This
you?
could be bait. Yes, this could be a bait.
It is almost certainly a trap. But it's not a trap for us.
It's not
Yeah,
a trap for
wouldn't-
us. The way that they lose is if no kindred come with us. Then they can't get what they want. They can't kill any of you.
They likely won't kill you if they don't think you're in league with us, because they're very righteous. The plunge are frustrating. We've dealt with them before, but not quite this.
Well, we could always try to pretend to be mercenaries who don't mind killing vampires for a quick silver.
Or we
That's-
could pretend to, or we
They're
could pretend to be
fanatics.
citizens, or we could pretend to be citizens of Malachor, afraid that the scary kindred are going to turn on us if we don't get the book back.
I've suddenly had an idea. You, and he turns to Claudia, and he says, "You have kindred after you.
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
why not use these fanatics for what they're good for?
That's a
Pretend
good
to
idea.
sign on with them for a little while. Have them intercept these Venatori. Saves us the trouble. And then, when it's convenient, slip out with the book.
That
That's a good
implies that you
idea.
think they're going to show up anytime soon.
I thought they were after you. I don't understand.
They are, but I don't know what their time frame is.
Yeah, but you literally just had the experience of them finding you.
It's true.
So it's not unreasonable to think that now would be the time to try to find allies who would want to kill Kindred.
And tell you what, if they don't appear, if they're not after you right away, slay some strays out in the forest. And then slip away with the book.
Do they know you personally?
What do you mean?
Like, do they know your face?
Yes.
So this isn't something you could blush about.
No.
I see.
We met them at the gates a month ago, where they laid down the line of where they were going to hold up.
But you didn't know Killen was with them.
No, not really. They
Is that why
hinted
Lord
at a
Achitari
secret
didn't
weapon.
take the plunge at their gate as a genuine threat?
I can't speak to Lord Achitari's motives. The plunge promised not to enter the city walls. They wouldn't slay any kindred that were on the main street of the times or within the city.
And they guess they
swear on
technically didn't do that.
Well,
That guy
they
entered.
he definitely entered the city.
He entered the city, but he didn't slay anybody.
Yeah, but that was part of it. Don't
No.
enter the city.
They wouldn't attack anyone in the city.
Mm-hmm. But they didn't promise not to go in and buy a sandwich. Got it.
Or
Right.
modify the memory of a baron.
Yeah, they did find a loophole. It just wasn't in that contract.
Got it.
Fanatic doesn't mind giving their life to a contract 2 years later if they think it's for a righteous cause.
It sounds like exactly the sort of thing a fanatic would do.
And if they manage to destroy the kindred who holds the contract, I suspect it is no longer binding.
I'm familiar with a few contracts, and typically the one who offers it, if they are deceased, yeah, the contract is no longer binding.
Did you have to do this to become a kindred?
No. I was turned in August City.
Oh,
Do you know the
Oh.
Von Don?
Do I know who?
Chadwick Von Don.
What a... No.
Okay.
Augur City's pretty big, Artie. You know that.
I mean, he's a famous quote-unquote.
I know.
I stumbled upon the Kindred Embassy in August City and made a deal.
Okay.
Sorry,
I didn't
that was
realize it was-
not Velen laughing. That was me.
I
Are
didn't
you from
realize
there?
it was.
No, I actually originally signed on with the Merigard, and that was one of my first assignments.
To become a vampire?
No, that was a circumstance I didn't expect to happen. My task brought me in... I shouldn't go so deep into this. It was an agency within August City that I handled poorly. And here I am. Oh, yes.
I met a Merigard once.
And?
We have?
We fucked. That was about it.
When did Velen meet a Marigard?
She had a life before all this.
I was on the road, man.
I thought
Yeah.
that maybe this had happened in game and I just missed it.
Oh no, I'm just making shit up.
Okay,
I was on the road, man. I was educated, the college of walking around, doing stuff,
School of Hard Knocks.
sleeping with people,
Yeah.
having a good time.
You've led an illustrious life.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Have you been to Cavies in Augur City? And she is looking at Tess.
Oh yeah.
The old tiefling's still doing well, I hope.
Mm.
He's an old
There's
friend.
a little place I used to bartend in the lower city. Every so often. It was cute. I miss it sometimes.
You should go back. And if you do, tell Cavendish that I miss our encounter.
I will.
It's such a
Sure.
what's going on here?
I more or
They do
less
it
live
now.
in Endsmeet now, but I do miss the city. I'll be back someday.
I rolled so good.
She seems to be sincere and looks nostalgic.
The trouble with cities is that you have to go so much further to become center stage.
It's true.
We have different aims, I think, in the cities. Velen.
Yeah, that seems likely.
We could definitely go back there. I'm gonna
I'm
murder
more
somebody.
about
You're
punching.
going to meta someone.
Yep.
Chadwick. I was
Yeah.
Um,
He was very mean to Artie in a way that needs to be rectified.
by murder.
I mean, I really think that public humiliation is going to be more satisfying for your vengeance quest.
Nope. Murder.
I'm not saying that you can't murder him afterwards.
Okay.
We'll talk
As long
about
as
So-
it ends in murder.
About the vampire hunters.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was caught in memory.
I think
No.
Triumph's idea was a good idea.
Yeah.
If that's the route we want to take, I will.
The main concern that I have is that it's going to take some lying.
Yes.
From all of us. And
From
we're not all great at that.
I'm
Also-
not necessarily lying.
Also, if they can do
Yeah.
that thing that Ori can do and look into our thoughts and they see these faces, that's going to be a problem for us.
Or is that something most people can do?
I'd normally say no, but today I'm not so sure.
Or is there a way we can train ourselves to like think about stuff?
Get a song stuck in your-
It would
Sure.
require a lot of not thinking about a particular person for a while.
Or is
Artie.
there magic we
99
can use?
bottles of beer in the wall. 99 bottles of beer. No?
Isn't there a...
I just think about the
Isn't
old
there, like-
sermons.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I heard
That'll
about
work.
an item. It's a ring of mind shielding.
They do
Great, we need like
exist,
6.
but they're expensive.
Bendy.
It's like
I'm
400
gonna-
gold each, if you have that
A
sort of coin.
business
You're telling me
expense
with this group
from
you
the
can't
Achitaris.
zone out on command?
I mean, I can, yeah.
Well,
I
great. Artie's the
basically-
worst liar, so as long as he's not paying attention, we're fine.
I can be a mute. They don't need to know I can talk.
I get what you're
That's
hitting at, but 2,400 gold for a business expense is a lot, Artie.
I mean, it's to get a book back that your god gave to you.
Right, but if Achitari wanted, I suppose we could just go wipe them all out in one bloodbath.
That
I
sounds
mean,
like
I'm
a really
not.
good idea.
I'm not 100% sure why we don't just wipe them all out in a bloodbath. Honestly.
My worry with I think the plan. I think Triumph's plan is an interesting idea. My worry is that there's so many of them, and if they get the jump on us, that'll be really bad for us.
I need to remind you that the Times way of doing things is not making a huge impact.
I know. I just really want to kill that guy.
Well, then do so, quietly and discreetly, the way the Lord intended.
Ugh.
The Lord Nix.
Quiet.
Exactly.
Quiet is the worst.
I have a solution. At least a small one. And he
Yes.
reaches into his pack and he pulls out it's not a typical sending stone. You see this one has a number of blue banisite crystals across the surface, and he hands it to you. And he says, Rev? Yes, very well. And she pulls out her own sending stone, holds it up to that one, and you watch as an intricate pattern dapples across the faces of the two sending stones. And then she hands the first one out towards you all. Whoever will take it.
Not me. I'll grab
Tess,
it.
okay, go ahead.
This
This-
is cool.
It is an improved sending stone, one that family provided to me a long time ago. It has no limitation on words. If you require assistance, give it a ring. I will hear you. We will come.
And you're fast.
I am fast.
Velen shows it.
Works for me.
I don't think I can just go join a wandering group of zealous vampire hunters, even as a lark.
Yeah, it does seem a little.
I have an appointment at the Scroll Keepers Guild.
That's true.
Oh. What do you
Need to
have
take care of
going on
that.
there?
I'm turning in an item I was sent to find.
Well, now I'm curious.
Aren't we all?
I see.
Actually, I was wondering if and she looks at Triumph and she's like, "You seem very good at gleaning information. Seems to be a bit of your area of expertise. I was wondering if I could show you something and see what you thought about it."
Of course. You can show me whatever you need.
Right. Not on the street though.
I see.
Wise.
Perhaps back to the whiskey dip.
Our home away from home.
And if there's nothing else, the sheriff's crew will follow you back to the tavern.
Is that it? Okay.
Okay.
I do
That's
sort of
very
wonder what their plan is for this book. It's not going to do them a lot of good just sitting in their pocket without
But it has
revealing itself as bait.
secrets about maybe kindred
I
that
think
they
it's
didn't
more
know.
bait than anything.
Maybe.
Maybe they're looking for Achilles' heel.
If it really just is bait,
Maybe.
then that does something for them regardless, right?
Well, if it was bait, wouldn't they be more obvious about who took it and where to find it?
Nah, that'd be obvious as bait.
Oh, I guess I don't have that kind of.
Well, it might also be
brain.
an effort to destabilize the city and make it easier to attack.
It's the same as sending out a bogey dinghy.
What?
A bogey dinghy, come on.
You send
A
out
what?
a
Does
ship.
anybody know
you
what
send
that
out
means?
Probably. You send out a shitty old dinghy full of barrels. Looks like it's been out there for a while. Trading vessel comes by and picks it up. That's when you nick them. Bogey dinghy.
Bogey dinghy, come on.
Are you supposed to be in the
Piracy.
dinghy?
No, that
No, you're
Well,
right.
where do you come from then?
it usually you do it during fog or cloudy weather or when the swells are real high. That way, when they creep up on the bogey dinghy, you can see which way they're coming from. You can go around the far side. They're busying themselves roping down to that dinghy. You get up behind them. Bob's your uncle.
Who's Bob?
Your uncle.
You now.
It's your uncle.
Oh,
Come on.
do you think?
Keep up.
Do you think? Sorry. Do you think that they maybe intended to kind of sow some issues between the baronies by making
think
this
so.
thing disappear?
I think that they made this disappear in a specific way that would be embarrassing to one of the barons if it were discovered. I think that was deliberate. This is an attempt to destabilize the otherwise stable balance of power in Malachor.
As you have arrived at the tavern and you head up to your rooms,
Yeah.
Triumph asks, all right, so what am I looking at?
Well, I'm not sure. It looks like, and she kind of looks around. Is it just the two of them? Did we go in a?
Just the two of you?
It's
You
up
wanted
to
to
you.
leave all of
It's
us
however you handle
out?
this.
If you want, like, it's not. She does seem kind of hesitant to just whip it out, but it's not because she wants to be alone with Triumph.
I mean, I get it.
Can Tess insight check? Because I think Tess is like is always kind of emotionally aware of other people. Can she insight check to see kind of how Ori is feeling right now? Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
You can insight check anytime you want. It's whether you glean something or not that matters.
I am back to rolling terribly.
What's your passive performance, Ori?
I don't know how to answer that.
So what bonus do you have to performance?
A +6.
Okay, with a 16 on your passive performance, Tess, you don't get much from Ori. She's cagey and not
Fair.
open. That's what you get.
Fair.
But then she kind of is just looking around at everyone and is like, all right, I won't be held responsible if something bad happens to you for being in a room with this thing, all right? And then she will take out a little bag and pull out, it looks like it probably was an amulet, but it doesn't necessarily have like a chain, but it looks like a vial of red liquid, mostly.
Triumph.
It's like, it looks like a Bloodwell vial to me. But I have tried to identify it and nothing, and I am reasonably certain it is cursed.
Triumph looks at it. He takes it, pinching it between his fingers.
Dang. The stones on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He notices that intake of breath and he says, "There's some dark history here."
You could say that.
He holds it up into the light. I need a D5 from someone who isn't me.
Hurry. It's her thing.
D5.
Yes.
A 2.
Claudia,
Ah.
roll me a charisma saving throw.
What?
Oh no!
Or you bitch.
I told you to leave!
That's a 4.
You did.
Fuck.
You did.
Flash of genius won't even
Claudia, as you look at this vial, the light glances through it, and in it you see red and the bubbles that seem to emerge from nothing within, and it's hypnotizing. Suddenly, you are not in the tavern's room anymore.
What did you do to me, Ori?
You are out in the forest on a rainy night. Lilibel in your arms as you're running. You're looking over your shoulder and your brother isn't there anymore. You feel anxiety rocking through your heart. And as the tears stream down your face, for everyone else, Claudia drops to the floor with 0 hit points.
Oh shit.
Death ward, motherfucker.
Not this time.
Seriously?
Damage she took.
This is some fucked up shit.
It is not
It
damage.
is not damage.
I did a whole thing.
I know. I'm sorry. Claudia, for the moment, perishes. And that is where we're stopping tonight's session.
He did warn us.
Seriously,
Ori
Death ward didn't
literally-
even work. That is literally the whole point. I'm so mad.
Not really bad.
Death ward prevents damages you take that would bring you to 0 and instead bring you to 1. This is not damage.
We gonna find out.
You will find out. That as much is for sure.
You brought Claudia to the worst day of her fucking life and then killed her?
Yes.
Yep.
That's what it
You're
do.
welcome.
Thank God you rolled it too.
Miss, what, you're gonna leave us out of the room?
You asked for it.
I'm pretty sure you're the one asking
literally.
why we weren't in the room with you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For the moment.
What? We're not in the room.
For the moment, at the end of the session, Claudia is dead. And that is where we're stopping tonight's session. Before we go any farther, I'd love to get a player votes for inspiration, so we'll start at the top. Mr. Dooch.
I'm very torn between two things. So I'm gonna give it to the first person I think of, Velen, and giving it to Velen for thinking about asking the dog. Very Baldur's Gate 3-esque reasoning and way to confirm. I think it was very well thought out. She did very well putting the questions eloquently and very subtly to where it's like it felt really real. Like this wasn't the first time Velen's done some shit like this.
I mean, it isn't
'Cause
even the first time that Velen has done this on camera. She continually defaults to asking the nearest animal for help when she can't figure out anything
True,
else
she
to
has
do.
a pattern.
People underestimate animal witnesses. They can be useful.
Yeah, that and just all the questions you asked, the way you asked the questions, you did really well this session.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Next. Hellfrog.
Fuck. I just thought when you said okay next, I was like, oh no, I'm next. Oh no.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna vote for Artie for Dooch because I thought that he did pretty good in his little investigation in the vault room at not, completely. Actually, several times this session, he did good diplomacy for Artie. He fixed the machine
Artie.
and impressed Faulkner, and then he also was pretty smooth with Verity.
Until he wasn't, and he was like,
Listen, he did about as good
I
as
mean,
anybody. So
He
yeah.
called out what actually happened in a very
It's
nice,
true, he figured it out,
in the
like,
nicest
immediately.
possible way he could have put that.
It's just to Verity, he was like, this rude son of a bitch.
You're right. I mean, yeah, the persuasion roll just made it like he was like, wow.
yeah.
The gratification of 20 minutes later when Velen's like, yeah, your memory was modified, and Artie probably just has a shit-eating grin on his face.
To be fair, for a vampire, that's a very embarrassing way to get bamboozled. Pen.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Velen. 90% because she just did a great job dictating the flow of the conversation. Like she's shown her chops as a charismatic person, and it's great to see. And because I thought her lawyering was adorable. Just like, oh my god, your specialty was showing.
Oh yeah. All right, where are the breaches in this contract? Who's witness? Like,
Yeah, oh god.
Like,
It's so cute.
Professional Sal was leaking in, and it was amazing. And you trying to like split that, like, and
Try
not let that influence how Velen would look at it. It was funny.
It was
I loved
hard. I've been doing this stupid job for so long. It's very hard to pull. It was much easier when I was playing an idiot character dealing with a contractual issue because I just knew that she wouldn't know anything about it. But Velen is like smart and educated, so I was like, okay, but she's not smart and educated the way I am, so what do I do with this? And it was hard. But so
Yeah.
thank you.
I gotta give it to Ori because she had I saw, and I think Tess, I would like to say that Tess saw too, but I was rolling really poorly, but I saw that she had kind of a rough session where and this has happened to me too, man, where just like everyone else can do all the stuff that you're good at like better than you can, and the way that Ori was kind of reacting to that in character in these like really subtle ways was very relatable to me. And like, especially because it wasn't a super Ori focused session, but I really like, I wanted shout out and sort of like acknowledge that she's having a like kind of a difficult time, and I wonder if that sort of had to do with her being like, I can't do this right now. Like, I have a Scroll Keepers Guild, like I have a whole other side quest thing that is important. And I like the timing of that. I like that there's all these gears in Ori's head that I forget sometimes that we don't know her as well as like we kind of think that we do, and the way that you kind of subtly remind us of that is excellent, and I love that.
Thank you.
okay, Sal.
Well, once again, we come to me last and I whine about how hard it is to figure out who to vote for.
Ooh.
Okay. But I am going to vote for Artie and Dooch because of
Because death.
because of immediately coming to the right conclusion, but also because herring off to fix the machine, the pneumatic.
It was
press
so in character.
horrible.
So already.
It was very good. So that's my vote this time.
Fuck
Okay.
your sensitive mission. I need to fix this machine that isn't related to me at all.
So,
I love Tess like trying to stop him and then being like, "All right, well, this is probably better for all of you anyway."
Yeah.
so we have a tie. Velen and Artie, you both earn a player inspiration vote.
Yay.
Also, as a rule, I award inspiration if a player figures out what I'm up to. And Dooch figured it out.
Hey.
So, Dooch, you've earned 2 inspiration points this session. Well done, sir.
Wow.
I hope
Very
you all
nice.
liked my vampire heist puzzle.
Well,
You
I like
handled it
that a
well.
handled it
lot.
well.
Figured it out.
You did figure it out. You solved my Book of Nod puzzle.
I actually also thought in my head that it was modify memory, and then like the thing failed, and I was like, it has to be that, but it can't be that, and I'm so confused.
I mean, it is hugely ballsy to cast modified memory on a vampire, because if that save,
You are fucking
Dave.
dead.
You are
you're
fucked.
so fucking dead. You
He had a lot
gotta
of faith
have-
in his god when he casted that spell.
I
He must
will
have been.
say-
He must have been. He must have been juiced.
I will say,
I will say it is clear.
Verity's wisdom score is not the best.
Yeah.
Sure.
But he's
I
a
mean,
vampire and they can.
He's
But-
still a
got
vampire.
ways.
Yeah,
Yes.
like it's clear that he's not the hardest vampire to bamboozle, but he's still a vampire,
He's
and
still,
like
yeah.
it takes balls to cast that spell.
So, I hope you all had a good time. I sure did. I'm sorry I killed you, Pen.
Thanks.
You know, it's.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad that I did a cool thing and it didn't
I
work,
read
and I'm
it.
so mad about it.
This is
This is literally
the only situation Death Ward would not.
I
have
just
worked.
pulled up Death Ward. It literally says the first time the target would drop 0 hit
I
points
don't
as a
know.
result of taking damage.
I know what the spell says. I'm just like it's so there are so few circumstances under which it would have been so cool, and this is one of them, and if this happens to be exactly the circumstance under which the cool thing will not happen.
Guys, this is terrible. Like, Ori has been going, she's like, am I making a big deal out of this? Am I out of my mind? And she finally fucking whips the thing out, and
And
the
Claudia
whoopee drops dead.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Ruby dies immediately.
You killed a baby, basically.
Yeah, this is bad for everyone. This is gonna.
No,
This is an infant
God,
with
no.
a sword.
Ma'am,
an
no.
infant who
Miss.
decided to come in the room.
And who has a sexual relationship with the dude back home? Let's
It's-
be
Wait,
grown.
wait. Let's just clear the air right now. I'm pretty sure Penn or Claudia was the one pushing on why we all
I
were
completely
in
agree. I was
It
like,
was-
what?
I
Why
wasn't
wouldn't
going
you
in there.
Take us? Yeah, why wouldn't you take us? Yeah, that was totally me. I own it. I'm not upset. I think this is amazing. I hope I get Claudia back. But I love
I'm
drama
pretty sure
and I love to
there's
cry.
multiple people in this
Like
room
3
who
clerics.
cast
Yeah,
Revivify.
I mean,
I
That's
literally
true,
have
but we also don't know
fine.
what the fuck this is.
We
Like,
don't.
Yeah,
Tess's dad died and clerics couldn't bring him back.
your soul might be in that motherfucking vial.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know
Like,
shit
I will
about sex,
spend
and we don't get to
The
play
next
for
2 weeks
This is gonna.
trying to come to terms with the fact that I might lose Claudia.
This is
That's
gonna.
the reality.
Mess up. This is
And
gonna.
we're off for a
fuck us
week.
So much.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amulet of Shang Soon.
She called on
Oh,
John
Echo.
to save.
Kudos
Save
on
friends
the
from exactly
cliffhanger
this.
for 2 weeks. It's
Yeah,
well
thank you.
done. Build suspense, you know.
I don't think he
Kudos.
I
planned
didn't
on
know that was
murdering
going to
one of
happen.
us.
I did not know Ori was going to pull the vial at the end of the session.
I
I knew what would happen if she pulled the vial. I didn't know it would
Did
be now.
you have an idea what was gonna happen?
Who?
Who?
Did you have it? Yeah.
Me?
Ori?
No. Hellfrog.
No, I have no idea what the thing is, like, out of character. I don't know.
Knew your
Echo
friend
knows
died
what it
in
is.
relation to it.
Yeah, you just knew that the goddamn thing is bad luck, and
I told him basically that we had gone to get an artifact and it was cursed and people keep dying suspiciously, and I'm pretty sure it's the thing.
That was pretty suspicious. Claudia had a brain aneurysm and just
I mean, who knows? All right.
she doesn't have to worry about those vampires chasing her.
That's true.
Because
Thank
she's
you all
dead.
for playing with me. I had a great time with you all tonight. And to those of you who are watching at home at work, hi, Pen.
Hi,
I can't wait to see
Ben.
you next time.
And
I hope you all have a good night.
Hi, Pen. I hope you're adjusting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through the 5 stages of grief over the next 2 weeks.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And we gotta make sure
I'm gonna
Claudia
go put a
doesn't die,
turkey in a
'cause
bucket.
Okay.
That's our